At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets play the Milwaukee Brewers. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. Make this summer better than ever. Visit the Hyundai Memorial Day sales event today for incredible deals. By M&T Bank. What's important to you is important at M&T Bank. Learn more at mtb.com/meet us. By Nissan. Get a safe ride with sound savings during Nissan's Safety Today event. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By Raymore and Flanagan. Furnishing your style. By the New York Lottery. Take a break from the expected. Play scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. And by ChevyOffers.com. Well, in 2016, the expected hitter for the Mets has been Yoenis Cespedes. He has been spectacular since day one, and yesterday his home run tied the game. Less certain has been the bat of David Wright, but the captain came through in the clutch yesterday and delivered the game-winning hit in the bottom of the ninth inning that lifted the Mets to victory. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets go for the sweep of their three-game series against the Brewers. You know, for most of this season, when the Mets have been winning, they've won by pitching well and bludgeoning teams early in games. Yesterday was the Mets' first last-at-bat victory of the season, and it's one of those things that provides a team with something of an emotional lift.
You know, Gary, I think there's two edges to the game yesterday. You're right. You want to have those building blocks during the season that makes your team feel like you're invincible. It doesn't matter if you're down 3 or up 3, you're going to somehow get it done. Remember last year when they were facing Washington, it was a team that didn't know how to lose. Well, they're trying to work on that. The second part of that, of course, is David Wright. David Wright probably went through one of the toughest weeks he probably has gone through as a professional, trying to figure out what kind of player he's going to be with this back injury. Well, yesterday was one of those bright days, not only for him, but I think for his teammates.
Well, there have been questions about David this year. There have certainly been questions about the Mets' vaunted pitching staff, too, with Matt Harvey struggling and Jacob deGrom's velocity down. There's been no question about Noah Syndergaard. He's been just fantastic.
It's funny to see him in the 86 uniform. I wish we had him in those days, but he just has been fantastic. When I think of all the established pitchers in Major League Baseball, the Kershaws, the Sales, the Arrietas, well, number one on the list of the best young pitcher in baseball is number 34.
On the other side from Milwaukee, the former Diamondback Chase Anderson, struggling this year, but a great outing his last time out.
Had a perfect game through 6 innings. He had a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Zobrist broke it up, but Chase Anderson is a guy who's going to see a lot of sinkers, a lot of change-ups. It's really a 5 or 6 inning pitcher.
Mets will be heading for D.C. after the game for their rematch with the Nationals. First, they go for the sweep of the Brewers. All the action coming your way this afternoon on Pix 11. 29th, watch the Mets battle the Dodgers at 8 o'clock. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a 1986 replica World Championship ring presented by H.L. Gross and Brothers Jewelers. After the game, all kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Met Dash, courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/1986.family-Sundays. Mets Health Report brought to you by Affinity Health, serving the needs of New Yorkers for over 30 years. Wilmer Flores should begin his rehab assignment from his hamstring Tuesday and be back with the Mets on Friday when they return home to play the Dodgers. And that brings us to the themes of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of heat in the Northeast so far, but Noah Syndergaard has done his part. 28 fastballs of 95 plus in his 7th inning on last game, making it rain. Chase Anderson, 11 home runs allowed. But we just saw the Washington, who am I thinking? Max Scherzer, who's allowed more than that, and lightning in a bottle. Mets hit home runs. They score most of their runs on home runs, and that Cespedes home run with one hand was amazing yesterday.
It's the Mets and the Brewers. First pitch coming right up. Brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. For the first time in the series, Ryan Braun is in the lineup, and it makes that Brewers lineup look a lot more formidable. Braun missed the last 4 games with back problems. In fact, he's been out 6 of the last 7 games for Milwaukee, but the former MVP is in there today.
Well, Noah coming off of one of his best starts all season. The last game against the Nats on Tuesday, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, no walks. He struck out 8 hitters or more in 15 of his 32 starts. Only people that are better: Dwight with 20, Kerrywood with 19, Yu Darvish 17, and Hideo Nomo with 16.
And does that kid look a little bit wide-eyed? And this isn't something he's going to remember his entire life. Meeting his hero.
I'm nervous for him. I remember being 5, 6, 7 years old, wearing glasses. So that was me right there at some point. Although I never got to meet Rico Petrocelli or Joe Foy or any of those guys.
I had the glasses at 5 years old too.
And you got to see Joe Foy a lot.
Well, for a year.
You had the glasses too, black rimmed.
Oh yeah.
Did you? Oh,
awful.
Just
awful.
I have pictures like an entire 4-year period where they're not allowed to be shown.
I dreamed for years of getting contacts. Couldn't get them until I was 16.
Oh, I got them at 9.
That's good for you. close-up view of the 100-mile-an-hour offerings of Noah Syndergaard.
Well, that was only about 80%, so that's about 92. Well, the numbers for Noah this year are off the charts, of course. His record could even be better than it is. Very interesting, though, the last 11 chances that he's had to have a double play, there's been 5 of them. So he has learned how to get that two-seamer down when he needs a double play. Getting better all the time. And defensively, the Tri-Honda dealers defense, Conforto, Cespedes, Granderson. Cespedes, of course, with the best arm of that group. Wright, Cabrera, Walker. Campbell's in there again because of the back injury. Lucas Duda was at the doctors, seeing the doctors while Terry was doing his presser. And Rene Rivera, 1.80. Now that's for real, except that 3 of these starts have been with Noah on the mound.
And that's not by accident, because it's well documented the difficulties that Syndergaard has had holding runners on base, and Rivera gives the Mets their best chance of throwing out opposing base stealers. He's got a rocket arm. Although the last time Syndergaard was on the mound, Kevin Plawecki was able to throw out an opposing base stealer against Washington.
Help a replay, though.
Well, they all can. Another cloudy afternoon at Citi Field, but no rain as the Mets wrap up their homestand. 3-2 on the homestand so far, losing 2 of 3 to Washington and splitting the first 2 games, winning the first 2 games of this series. And they go for the sweep today. They have not swept, the Mets have not swept the Brewers in Queens since 2002, one ballpark ago.
You know, the Brewers have a little more speed in this lineup. It'll be interesting if they do what some teams have done and try to run like crazy if they can get on base.
Syndergaard's first fastball misses low and inside at 98, and we're underway. Jonathan Villar having a good series, 4 for 9, a pair of doubles yesterday, and he is the leading base stealer in the National League. And he takes a rip at a fastball and foul tips it 1-1. Villar, Jeanette, and Braun for the Brewers in the opening inning. Milwaukee 7 games under 500. They won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs before coming here, before dropping a pair of 1-run decisions. 2 balls and a strike to Villar. Syndergaard comes off 7 scoreless against Washington Tuesday night. Got the only win in that series for the Mets. A 2-0 final. His first major league win came against Milwaukee here at Citi Field just over a year ago.
Well, I love the setup from Rivera. When he's trying to get Syndergaard to throw that ball down in the strike zone, he gets on one knee with that low target. This number's at Citi Field for Noah. That would be right up my alley.
Two from Noah. And a comebacker. The good reach. And the soft touch for the first out.
Well, the 10-foot wingspan came in healthy again.
I mean, you put him in the NBA, be a heck of a defender.
Right. How about a big time big receiver in the NFL?
I was thinking more like an outside linebacker.
Okay.
Right, swatting down passes like a Phil Villapiano.
Oh, there you go, 41.
Here's Scooter Gennett, who's 0 for 5 in this series. Gennett hitting at .232 for the year. And a fastball away for ball 1.
Neck collar or no neck collar?
I'm thinking no neck collar.
Okay, for Noah. Neck collar for Villapiano, but no neck collar for Noah.
It's more out of fashion these days, anyway. 99 from Noah, and it's 1-1 to Gennett. You know, we talk all about the velocity and the strikeout numbers. What's amazing to me about Syndergaard is the walk numbers. 9 walks in 53 innings to go with 65 strikeouts. Better than 7-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And you know, when you think about power pitchers who throw as hard as he does, and there obviously haven't been many of them, you think about guys who, especially earlier in their careers, have trouble throwing strikes.
It sometimes takes them 100 starts before they get where they want to be.
I mean, think of a Bob Feller, of Nolan Ryan.
32, or the 33rd start for Syndergaard here.
So what is it? What is it that allows him to have the kind of control that he has, despite the fact that he's throwing 100 miles an hour?
I think it's one of the greatest watching of a young pitcher's maturity over a year that I've ever seen in this broadcast booth. A year ago today, I would not have been able to say that. It was 50-50 whether he was going to throw strikes or not.
Slapped down to third and off the glove of right, and Gennett is aboard. Looked like a simple play for David, but it came off his glove, and the error puts Gennett aboard with 1 out.
Well, this is a simple play. It did come up a little, absolutely, but you know, that's a play that he would tell you he would make 99 times out of 100. Just came up a little. Now we're talking about, this is just when the infield's been raked. I mean, if you're ever going to get true hops this time of the game.
4th error of the year for David, so Ryan Braun will get his first at bat of the series. Braun 2nd in the National League with that .364 average. 5th in on base percentage, 7th in slugging, off to a tremendous start. Only problem has been keeping him on the field. He's had some wrist issues, and he had back surgery to repair a herniated disc in the offseason. And Braun was talking yesterday about how the doctors have told him it'll take him a full year before he's completely soreness free. So he's had to miss time periodically, including the last 4 games.
By the way, if I'm a professional athlete and I go see a doctor, please do not tell me it's going to take me a year before I feel 100%. Just leave that out of your post-operation discussion.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's ridiculous.
As a professional athlete, once the season is underway, how many times do you ever feel 100%?
Never. I mean, I don't know, because I didn't play every day. All right. And these guys are amazing at what they do, but you don't need to know everything about what's going on. I fixed your back. Go get him, kid.
Rivera setting up well off the plate. And Syndergaard spins one outside, 1-2.
It broke so much it almost looked like it crossed up Rivera, even though it's the pitch he called. I mean, it had a late break on it. He's looking for a slider, but watch at the very end. It kind of dips down, and Rivera tried to get it in the strike zone, but fooled by it also.
Framing is great, but you have to catch it too. Otherwise the framing doesn't count. 1-2 coming. Fouled away. We saw that with Travis d'Arnaud. Remember when he first came up, he was very intent on framing pitches, and sometimes he wouldn't catch the pitch.
The backstop was framing it, you know.
He got better at that.
I do like watching Rivera catch, though. He's you know, he's a defense first, offense second kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that gets as much joy if this pitcher pitches a shutout as the pitcher does.
Syndergaard ahead 1-2. Checks in on Gennett, who has just 1 stolen base this year. Well, Syndergaard's allowed 14 steals, but none in his last 2 starts. Brewers leading the National League in steals, but VR has nearly half of them, and he was retired. And Braun takes below the knees, 2-2.
Thinking we'll see that graphic again as far as the base runners and Noah. You know, Ryan Braun, Gary already illustrated his injuries, but he is the one guy in this lineup that I don't care who's throwing, he can go coast to coast and out of the ballpark on you. That talented.
Breaking ball hit slowly. Right on the chart. His only play is at first, and just in time to get Braun for the 2nd out as Gennett moves up to 2nd. Well, Noah got the ground ball, but not hit hard enough to turn 2.
Again, that 2-seamer is getting him some ground balls. David kind of side saddles it, double clutches, and Braun, who runs better than you think, makes this play close at first base.
David has no problems when he's throwing on the move coming toward first base. It's the side to side and the going back and trying to throw in those positions that have given him issues.
Also, reduction in length doesn't hurt.
So here's Lucroy, who's 0 for 8 in this series. In fact, 0 for his last 12. Hitting a .288 for the year. Syndergaard trying to get around to first inning error. Jeanette at second and 2 out. And Lucroy takes a curveball for a strike. Syndergaard's been throwing that curve a lot less this year as he's developed his slider.
You know, not walking people, you would think that his strike to ball ratio would be better, but he is so precise that when he's going for the strikeout or trying to retire batter, he sometimes will throw a couple balls out of the strike zone per batter going for that strikeout. That being said, he's a little off here in this first inning with his fastball command.
Well, he's been missing low out of the strike zone, and if you have a choice, that's probably the one you choose. Lucroy 6 home runs this year. And that's drilled into center field for a base hit. Jeanette around third, and he'll come in to score. Jonathan Lucroy plates a run, an unearned run against Syndergaard in the opening inning, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee.
Well, he started him out with the curveball, which he'll take, but the third pitch, which is a curveball, also stays up in the strike zone. And Braun and Lucroy are the two best hitters on this team, and if you make a mistake, those are the guys that are going to make you pay. I thought Cespedes was going to have a chance there for a second on Jeanette, but kind of fumbled the ball in center field.
Jeanette was not moving well coming from second around third base, and I think Cespedes would have had a chance for him had he handled that ball cleanly. Here's Cook Nieuwenhuis taking a strike.
Let's see Jeanette. He's supposed to be fast. That is not that fast.
No.
I mean, he looks like he's playing, not hurt, but not running as fast as we saw him when he first came up.
Well, he had an oblique injury that kept him on the DL for 3 weeks. I don't know if that's an issue with him. Nieuwenhuis has had a rough homecoming. 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts in this series, and quickly behind 0-2.
Let's see where Cespedes touches the ball. Right here, he's just not even the third. I wonder if Cespedes thought that a guy named Scooter is a guy you can't throw it at home. I don't know.
You know he's named after a cartoon character, right?
I do, but maybe Cespedes doesn't.
He thought it was in deference to his speed.
That's right.
Nieuwenhuis has taken over the center field job in Milwaukee, but has had a rough time making contact in this series. 1-2 from Syndergaard. Lucroy runs. The throw by Rivera is right on the money, and he got him. Side retired. Rene Rivera continues to show off a very powerful right arm. And so Syndergaard, who has been run against like crazy, may have found himself a useful companion in Rene Rivera. Brewers get an unearned run and lead at 1-0. Mets brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Eric Campbell in the starting lineup again for the 10th time in the last 14 games. Rene Rivera getting the start behind the plate. Chase Anderson on the mound for Milwaukee today.
Well, you see his numbers not great, but he was great in his last start against the Chicago Cubs. We talked about that perfect game, then no hitter chance. Never did get that complete game, but his best game of the season.
By the way, on that last play in the top of the first inning, the home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom called strike 3 on Neuenhuis. So take the caught stealing away. The strike call was the third out of the inning.
Poor Rene Rivera, the one chance he gets to shine. See the Tri-Honda defense. Hernan Perez, Villar, Jeanette, and at first base, Flores, his first start in the major leagues at first base. Jonathan LaCroix behind the plate. The outfield, Braun, Neuenhuis, and Presley.
Curtis Granderson led off yesterday's first inning with a home run. And he takes a strike from Chase Anderson. Granderson 1 for 7 in the series. Also drew a couple of walks yesterday. Batting average at 197. But he has 8 home runs, so he's on a pace for about 30 home runs. But the walk number is far down, and so his on-base percentage not what we're accustomed to seeing from Curtis.
Well, that's the issue. He's the leadoff hitter. Those things have to change for Curtis.
Pops this one up, and Villar, the shortstop, into shallow right center. Reels it in for the first out. So Granderson retired, 1 out and nobody on. Now David Wright coming off his walk-off hit yesterday, the 9th walk-off RBI of David's Mets career, which is the most in history. Did you know that Kevin McReynolds had the old record of 8?
He did, and he also had a great record, most of those with home runs, weren't they, or some of them?
Well, 4 of his walk-off hits were home runs. David's only had 1 walk-off home run in his career. That came against Heath Bell in 2008.
.30. Always has the hit if he wants to. Terry Collins said, I can put the red light on, but not with my better hitters, or not with my superstars. He doesn't do that. Now, Yoenis Cespedes, he gives the swing 3-0 all the time. Never swings. Doesn't like to.
Curtis Granderson does.
Yes, he does.
Well, David's not a guy who often swings 3-0. In fact, it's only the 12th time in his career he's put a ball in play on 3-0, and he's now 3 for 12 in those at-bats. That's at 18 last at-bat wins last year. They were the last team in the league this year to have their first last at-bat win.
Flores, was that the last walk-off win last year?
Yes.
The home run against the Nats. Wow. My favorite walk-off hit by David was at the old Shea against Mariano Rivera when he knocked a ball over the head of Johnny Damon. That was quite a day for him.
Full count to Wright. Chase Anderson making his 9th start. Came over from Arizona along with Aaron Hill in the deal that sent Gene Segura to the Diamondbacks. And right, it's a slow ground ball, and Perez ranging wide to get it. That's the second out.
Chase Anderson last year was .500 pitcher, 6-6 with a 4.30 and 27 starts for the Diamondbacks. You're going to see a lot of sinking fastballs. He's getting a lot of ground balls. He's in good shape. Occasional, good breaking ball. Changeup seems to be his best pitch.
Here's Michael Conforto, whose bat has come alive in this series. Has a double and a home run among his 3 for 7.
Anderson trying to work very quickly. It would behoove these Mets hitters to make sure that they're ready before he starts.
Chase Anderson from Wichita Falls, Texas, about 2 hours up the road from Mansfield, Texas, where Noah Syndergaard is from. Conforto drives one deep right center, up near the wall, and it's out of here. A monstrous home run off the bat of Michael Conforto, his 2nd of the series, his 8th of the year, to tie the game.
Mets fans are going to be in love with this kid by the end of the season.
Now, the first 3 weeks in May were rough for Michael, but he has found the range again.
You know, Chase Anderson's trying to come inside here. The problem for Chase against Conforto today is that coming inside is a very difficult thing for him to do against left-handers. So middle of the plate away is where Conforto owns, and he owned him there.
Now Cespedes.
Doesn't get any prettier than this. He's got those short arms that he can pull in, and the leg strength and bat speed to hit those prodigious home runs. Over 250 times in my career, I had that same reaction right there. Head down, scrape at the dirt a little bit, get a new one, college boy.
Well, Chase Anderson has gotten accustomed to that feeling. That's lined at the second baseman, and Jeanette's got it. It's 12 home runs Anderson's given up in just 45 innings this season. Conforto's home run gets the Mets even. 1-1 as we go to the second at Citi Field. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Michael Conforto providing the Mets' first run with his second home run in this series. And so Noah Syndergaard back even after the Brewers played an unearned run in the first. Hernan Perez leads off in the second. Perez 1 for 4 in this series, playing third base today, and takes a fastball in the corner for a strike. That's wearing the 1986 replica uniforms every Sunday home game this year.
I do have to say I feel kind of bad for them because, you know, the way the player wears the uniform today, it's less cropped and it's a little looser, and there's our flag. So it loses some of what you would see in the 80s as far as how the guys wore their uniforms.
Well, let me say this.
Okay.
Because these uniforms are associated with one of the great teams, one of the 2 world championships in Mets history, it provides great memories. That's looped into shallow right and a base hit for Perez, leading off in the second. But looking at them here now in retrospect is a reminder that the Mets classic uniform is a classic. It should stay that way. And this one should only be brought out for very special occasions.
Yeah, it's like a Bad Company in classic radio, just a little bit at a time, not too much.
Well, in the day, they were the hot uniform in the go-go 80s.
Go-go 80s. You know what? There were so many bad uniforms then that one did not look so bad.
That's true. Alex Presley takes the curveball down, and Rivera keeps it in front of him. Presley 1 for 6 in this series. Played left field the first 2 games of the series. Right field today with Ryan Braun back in the lineup. Presley, the former Pirate, now 30 years old. Played in Houston last year. Perez has 5 steals and 6 tries. Rene Rivera technically does not have a caught stealing today. He was taken off the board.
Last 2 starts we talked about, the one against the Nationals, or both of them. The one in Los Angeles is remembered almost more for his home runs than his pitching against the Nats in his last time out.
He gave up the 2 home runs in LA, but he trumped it with 2 home runs of his own, one with a couple of men on.
I saw that one graphic. Struck out 3 batters 6 times in an inning. That's not striking out the side.
He struck out the side twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Of those 6 times.
Yes. Because you and I are a stickler about that. So 3 strikeouts in an inning does not make a strikeout the side, guys. You know that.
6 times striking out 3 in an inning is tied for 2nd in the majors this year. That's in the air to right center, and over comes Cespedes. And back to first goes Presley, 1 away. Jose Fernandez, who won last night, has 7 innings this year where he struck out 3.
Well, the only reason I say that, I've had games where I've given up 4 runs and struck out 3 people.
That's why it's so absurd to say somebody struck out the side unless it's 3 in a row, because you could face 12 batters and strike out 3 of them, and it's not a very good inning.
Here's another absurdity I hear all the time. Guy had a shutout last night. He did? Yeah, 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs.
7 scoreless innings.
7 scoreless. There you go.
Here's Ramon Flores, who had a career day yesterday. His first big league home run. He drove in 3 of the Brewers' 4 runs. Flores playing first base today for the first time in the major leagues. He had 50 games in the minor leagues at first base as recently as a couple of years ago. So Chris Carter getting the day off, and that makes sense with Carter's strikeout numbers facing a guy like Syndergaard. Nice, good day to give him the day off. Perez at first and 1 out. The pitcher Anderson, a light hitter, on deck. Ball and a strike to Flores, and Syndergaard a little off with his command of his fastball early.
Definitely off, and that's why we haven't seen any changeups yet. It's almost like he's fighting to find his fastball command.
It seemed as though Jacob deGrom never found his fastball command yesterday, even though his velocity was up. He was a little all over the place, and that led to 100 pitches in 5 innings. There goes the runner, and it's fouled off. So Flores fouls off the curve with Perez on his way and gets to exchange some pleasantries with Asdrubal Cabrera. Countryman.
Venezuela.
You can imagine if you grow up as an infielder in Venezuela like Hernan Perez, you've got to be a huge Asdrubal Cabrera fan. Curveball gets him looking. Flores out on strikes, the 2nd strikeout for Syndergaard.
So far, other than the curveball he hung to Lucroy, his curveball has been very good. And this one, it's supposed to be down and in, but it ended up being backdoor, and he gets the call from Gary Cederstrom. See how it drifts, and at the last second kind of seeps slowly into that outer part of the strike zone.
Here's Chase Anderson, who is 6 for 95 in his career. By the way, there's a swinging strike. How often do you see the home plate umpire wearing sunglasses on a cloudy day?
That sounds like a Temptation song at some point.
I got sunglasses. 1-1 to Anderson. Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief behind the plate. Barksdale, Wolf, and Johnson around the bases.
Mets fans, that's always going to be your trivia question. Cederstrom behind the dish when Santana threw his no-no.
And Adrian Johnson, of course, more famously umpiring at third that day. Without Adrian Johnson's call, Mets are still looking for their first ever no-hitter.
Replay would still be going on right now.
Now that ball though was hit in front of him, right?
In front of him. That's right.
So it would not be reviewable.
Hard for me to keep it straight, and that's my job.
Well, last week during the road trip, we had the 2 non-reviewable calls, right?
That's
which one of which got Terry Collins ejected from the game.
That's right.
But I thought we were supposed to be getting it right.
Well, I don't think we've taken him seriously yet. We're going to have to.
Runner goes. Anderson strikes out to end the inning. Odd to see Perez running with the pitcher up, but it results in a strikeout and a moot point. Syndergaard works around a leadoff hit, still tied at 1.
Playing and winning in New York also had its advantages off the field. Suddenly, the Mets were all over the place, appearing in national commercials and even making the rounds on MTV with their top-of-the-charts music video.
Speaking of the go-go 80s,
Yeah.
find it curious that even the announcers wound up on the covers of magazines.
Oh, are you trying to work for one?
I'm just wondering. Those things don't happen these days.
I heard from someone can get you on the Columbia Journal. No.
Pass. Neil Walker leads off in the home second and takes a curveball strike from Jake Sanderson. Walker 1 for 7 in this series. Walker, Cabrera, and Campbell for the Mets in the second against Anderson, who allowed a long home run to Michael Conforto in the first. And he bounces a breaking ball, 1-1. Anderson, 28 years old. 9th round pick by the Diamondbacks out of the University of Oklahoma.
John Gray, who just did a game in the Rockies.
Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner. So when you saw that logo, I always knew that it was an MB, but I thought, I mean, I originally just thought it was a ball and a glove, right?
I thought it was a hand.
Oh.
Which it is,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a glove with a ball in it. But it took me years as a kid to finally realize that it was an M and a B.
I love it. I think it's one of the great original logos. I like the one color cap too. The double color is not my favorite.
Soft liner grabbed by Jeanette for the first out. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The Toyota Time sales event ends May 31st. Hurry in today. Toyota, let's go places. Well, you know, the Brewers came to be out of the wreckage of the Seattle Pilots, who only had 1 year in the major leagues in 1969, but inspired maybe the greatest baseball book ever written.
That's right.
Ball 4. Jim Bouton's tell-all about his years in baseball, but specifically his year as a Seattle Pilot.
Now, I know because I read Ball 4 numerous times. The guys on, but really the only good player I knew on that team was Don Money, the third baseman. He got the most press.
Well, most of the headlines that came out of Ball 4 were not about the Pilots and Joe Schultz and Gary Bell and all those guys. It was about Bouton's years with the Yankees and the things he said about Mickey Mantle. Those got the headlines. 2-1 to Cabrera.
Well, I certainly know about what gets the headlines in a book after the last couple of months. Right? But yeah, because everyone was shocked that how juvenile ball players can be at times.
But the great revelation, the one that got all the headlines, was that Mickey Mantle hit a home run with a hangover. Really? That's the big deal?
Well, in those days, your ball players were eating Mapo in the morning. You know, they weren't out at night.
But it was really the first time that a ball player had told the truth about what goes on behind the scenes as Cabrera strikes out. There was one precursor to that, Jim Brosnan, about 10 years earlier.
Life on the Run?
Before that, The Long Season.
Okay, long.
You know, wrote it was a tell some book.
Well, Life on the Run was Bill Bradley, right?
Right.
Yeah, Brosnan's books, he had 3 of them, I believe, were unbelievable. Inspiration to me, to tell you the truth. When I was a kid, I read those books.
Here's Eric Campbell, who had the opening salvo in the 9th inning last night. Got the base hit that started the rally, wound up scoring the winning run. Campbell filling in again today for Lucas Duda at first base. And we should know more about Lucas, I would suspect, after the game today. Lucas had an MRI yesterday, saw the doctor again today, and you know, going into another big series with the Nationals starting tomorrow night, the Mets cannot afford to be shorthanded. That's drilled toward left center field, but on comes Braun, and he picks it off to retire the side. So Chase Anderson gets the Mets out 1-2-3 in the second, still tied at 1. An overcast Sunday in New York, and the skyline quiet but solid.
Doesn't matter where you look, 432 Park is right there, isn't it? Boy,
whether you like it or not. Mets' upcoming schedule brought to you by ChevyOffers.com. Mets head to D.C. after the game today. 3 games with the Nats Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. Then back home for the weekend with the Dodgers when we celebrate the '86 team. Dodgers and the White Sox on the next homestand. Top of the batting order, Jonathan Villar thinks about the bunt and takes a strike.
Very nice of the Nationals team to play a 1 o'clock game on a getaway day.
Which the Mets did not do for them, by the way.
Very nice of them.
Villar hit a comebacker his first time up. And a fastball in for a strike, 0-2. Syndergaard has struck out 3 first time through the batting order. Still trying to find his top level. Gave up an unearned run in the first inning. And bounces the curveball to Villar, 1-2. Syndergaard with that incredible walk to strikeout ratio. He's second behind Bartolo Colon in the National League in fewest walks per 9 innings. And he's 5th in the league in strikeouts per 9 innings. It's very unusual to be in the top 5 in both. And a 99-mile-an-hour sinker strikes out Villar. 3rd consecutive strikeout for Syndergaard.
He doesn't really have traditional sink on this pitch, but it is crazy run. Starts almost middle of the plate, ends up 2 or 3 inches outside. Your first recognition as a hitter, it's a pitch to hit, and then no chance.
I mean, you think of a disappearing pitch, you think of a changeup. It's a disappearing 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Here's Scooter Gennett, who reached on an error and scored a run in the first. And takes the curveball outside.
Folks, these hitters are so good that even when they think they know a fastball's coming, they will recognize it, and what they see is, oh, it's a strike. They let the hammer go, and then it just disappears on them because of the movement.
Gennett can't stop the swing, and it's 1-1. And of course, all of that happens in 4/10 of a second, or in Syndergaard's case, maybe 3/10 of a second.
It's sometimes I don't know how they do it, these big league hitters, and sometimes against Syndergaard they don't do it.
Blew one by Gennett, and it's 1-2. I'd say he's starting to find the range.
Well, what happens, folks at home, is when you don't have it working early, you just got to stay with it, because if you're a big league talent, it'll come during the game. You're just hoping it comes before they score some runs.
Gennett with a late swing foul. Ryan Joseph Gennett, nicknamed Scooter, is a 5-year-old after a cartoon character.
Scooter's a great name for a ball player. I mean, you know.
Phil Rizzuto was the original Scooter. Can't go wrong copying Phil Rizzuto.
On the field or in the booth.
Little looper to shallow center. Cespedes misjudged it, and he has to trap it. And he throws to first base, but Gennett able to beat it out.
Oh, that was.
Well, Cespedes started after it, stopped, started again, but that was too late. And Gennett, who I guess thought Cespedes was going to catch the ball, stopped as well.
Well, that better have been a nervous smile, because when he hit it, he thought that Cespedes was going to make a play. But the short hop, we saw this yesterday. If he had thrown it right away and Campbell was on the base, it would have been a bang-bang play at first base. He had made a short hop yesterday on a play, right?
Yes, he did. That was one he really had no chance for. This is one he misjudged. So that's on Cespedes. So Gennett's been able to reach base twice on plays that should have been made. 1 out and 1 on. Here's Braun, who had a slow ground ball to third his first time up.
It's twice now Braun has swung at the first pitch, so he's coming out firing against Noah Syndergaard.
That's a good game plan then, throwing him a first pitch slider. Is Braun's back foot even close to being in the batter's box?
It's out of the batter's box, but who cares? I mean, the hitter, the umpires don't really even take that into consideration.
Isn't that dangerous for a catcher, though, to have a hitter who's actually out of the batter's box?
You know, Campbell's kind of la-di-da, not his fault. He probably has never taken a throw from center field.
Who's expecting the 8-3 putout?
Well, Syndergaard's going for the ground ball. He got it. It just happened to be to Cespedes.
Oh, 0-2 to Braun with Lucroy on deck. Strike 3 call. Knee-high fastball gets Braun looking. Number 5 for Syndergaard.
That is as good a pitching as you're going to see. Hard slider he swung over. Fastball he got away with, and then he countered with his cheese at the knees. Braun thought it was low. Could have been low. Most important, Cederstrom did not think so.
Next year, maybe it won't be low.
Oh, don't even get me into that. Let's do that another time, like a West Coast game.
Here's Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy single to center to drive in the Brewers' run in the first inning.
So Lucroy hit the breaking ball for a hit. That doesn't get you as a pitcher off that pitch. You just realize you made a bad pitch. You can still throw your breaking ball, maybe not the curveball to Lucroy. The hard slider might be the better choice. Fastball in here.
Ball and a strike.
I saw the scout today in the food room, the cafeteria press dining room here.
And he's got the stopwatch, I would assume, timing Syndergaard's numbers getting the ball to the plate.
He was here at 9 o'clock working on that scorecard.
Curveball misses to Lucroy, 2-1.
He's the kind of guy we got to interview one time. The job of the scout, how it's changed over the last 30, 40 years. Whoa.
Well, some of the advanced scouts have been put out of business because teams scout by video now. Although how you would scout the nuances of a team you're about to play, especially their shifts and their defense, how you would do that on video, I have no idea.
There's no idea. You can't do it. How a guy is running.
Right.
You know, there's little things that happen on the field that you can't see on video.
Jumps players get on balls. You can't tell that from watching the video.
Gary, it's cheaper and it's better for the bottom line.
2-2 to Lucroy. And he struck him out to end the inning. 3 strikeouts in the inning. 7th time this year Syndergaard's done that. He's got 6 for the day as he fans Lucroy on this running fastball. Still tied at 1. MLB.com at Bat app, which includes game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. And you might see Noah Syndergaard, too. Today's high-speed pitch comes from the New York Lottery. Take a break from the expected. It's no contest when Syndergaard's on the mound. He wins this every time.
I'm telling you, if I was pitching against Syndergaard, I would send my PR representation up here and say, please keep me off that. Just put Syndergaard up there. There's no reason to embarrass me by 7 miles an hour.
Syndergaard ready to wield his mighty lumber. Waiting on deck as Rene Rivera leads off in the home third. And takes the cutter for a strike. Rivera 2 for 16 in his brief Mets career, making his 6th start. Started the opening game of this series Friday night. And the curveball misses from Anderson, a ball and a strike.
Chase Anderson, who took K-Rod's number as he came over here to the Brewers. K-Rod now in Detroit.
To me, that will always be Johan Santana's number.
Oh, that's right, yeah. In a Mets uniform, absolutely.
K-Rod, didn't he wear 75?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
And with the Angels, I believe, didn't he? Thought he had an unusual number when he came up with the Angels because he was such a young player. And
well, he came up in September of '02.
Struck out the world.
And then was a dominant postseason force that year, setting up for Troy Percival. On the corner, 3-2 to Rivera. That bullpen for that '02 Angels team was so much fun to watch.
That's right. Troy Percival in that bullpen too.
Ben Weber.
That's right.
Brendan Donnelly.
Donnelly with the glasses.
Yep. Rivera strikes out. Second strikeout for Chase Anderson.
Who's their left-hander in that bullpen?
Was Schoenweiss on that team?
Schoenweiss was on that team. Good call.
Schoenweiss is an Angel, trumps Schoenweiss as a Met.
Oh, you know, you've had that happen here in New York.
Occasionally. Have you heard of Robbie Alomar? Here's Noah Syndergaard, and he takes a curveball outside.
He took a curveball first pitch outside to a pitcher.
Well, we've seen this a lot since Noah hit the 2 home runs in L.A. He doesn't get many fastballs anymore.
I wish we had it in my day. I would have been on that curveball machine all the time.
Did you see a lot of curveballs?
After the first year, yeah, lots of curveballs. And I honestly, I don't think it would have helped. I couldn't hit a breaking ball when I was in high school or college, so I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to hit it in the pros. But couldn't hit anything spinning. But if it was straight, I was all right.
Well, Syndergaard's been more than all right. 3 career home runs in just 57 at bats. And he takes a rip and strikes out on the fastball. So back-to-back strikeouts for Anderson against the 8 and 9 hitters. Six in a row retired by Anderson since Conforto's home run, and now Curtis Granderson, who popped up to short his first time. So I'm taking a peek at the Washington-Miami game because I'm trying to keep up with Giancarlo Stanton's just incredibly horrific last week. I've never heard of anything like this.
I mean, it would be a bad line for a pitcher.
Last 5 games, 0 for 17 with 15 strikeouts, and he struck out again his first time up today. 0 for 18 with 16 strikeouts. How is that even possible?
Well, it is possible now.
He's facing Scherzer today, so there's no shame in that, but still. 2-0 to Granderson, and Curtis gets a changeup and misses it. 2-1.
That was a good pitch to see from Anderson there. 2-0 changeup. Very impressive. Two in a row.
Very similar to yesterday's starter, Zach Davies. Anderson's a guy who's not going to overpower you and relies on guile.
Very rarely see three to the same pitch in a row, and he did there.
And he flips it into right center for a base hit. So after 2 straight changeup, the third one, Granderson was able to adjust to, and he has the Mets' second hit.
Other than the fastball, you should not throw big league hitters the same pitch 3 times in a row. They will make the adjustment. And don't forget, with 2 strikes, they have a different swing than they do on the first 2 pitches.
Some do.
Most should.
Yeah, they should. And it's been a point of some contention. So Granderson at first with 2 out, and here's David Wright, who grounded out his first time up. Elias did some research about this Stanton streak of the 15 strikeouts the last 5 games. Found that in the last 50 years, only one other player had struck out 15 times in a 5-game span, and it was a pitcher.
Oh, it was a pitcher.
Wayne Twitchell back in '73.
They go further with the research, the last player to do it?
I think that's the next step.
I'm thinking Rob Deere. Players like that.
No, but that was, if Twitchell was the only one in the last 50 years, that would have,
as a pitcher, right?
But that would have taken care of Deere's career,
okay.
right? Because he came up in the '70s.
That's right.
So even Deere and Dave Kingman and Jose Hernandez.
Wow.
None of them.
Right.
Drew Stubbs, Mark Reynolds, all those 200-plus strikeout guys. Nobody did it.
Ryan Howard.
Yeah. Remember when Jose Hernandez was with Milwaukee and he was threatening 200 strikeouts and they benched him the last week so he wouldn't get there?
That's the anti-Ted Williams move.
Yeah.
Teddy Ballgame went 6 for 8 against Cleveland. They had 406.
Anderson behind 2-0. And David whacks one in the air to right. Presley back. He's got room. And he puts it away to retire the side. 2-out hit for Granderson. He's left stranded after 3. Mets and Brewers tied at 1. Get to Citi Field Saturday, June 18th. Watch the Mets take on the Braves at 8:15 p.m. Multi-platinum pop artist Andy Grammer will perform following the game as part of the Mets post-game concert series presented by Budweiser. Admission to the concert is included in the price of the ticket. For tickets, visit Mets.com/concerts.
That scenic shot was of the 59th Street Bridge. How am I doing, Gary?
It's the Ed Koch Bridge. Kirk Neuenhuis fouls one back as we start the 4th. Did Mayor Koch show up at your games in the 80s?
Oh, what a question. What a question. Mayor Koch was always in the middle of what was trending.
Front runner.
Before there was trending, he was always there.
He was a front runner.
Big time. Big time. I never realized till the first time I met him what a big guy he was.
Yeah. Neuenhuis strikes out again. He's chasing Stanton. 7 strikeouts in 9 at-bats in this series for Kirk Nieuwenhuis, and 7 strikeouts today for Noah Syndergaard. Thor helmets out in force today.
Now the Thor helmet is it sold here, or do you go to, you know, like, I would think that if I were going to get a Thor helmet, I didn't know where to go. I'd go to a Halloween place that sells those kind of things. Halloween outfit.
We're going to have to ask that question,
right?
Whether the Mets team store is now stocking the hammers and the Thor helmets.
You got to do that. You have to.
Well, I mean, the way that Noah has embraced his alter ego, parading around Times Square as Thor, you would think that now that becomes a part of the fabric.
I bet you the ballpark in San Francisco has some dreadlock hats that they're selling for Johnny Cueto.
Well, like they have the panda hats.
Panda hat before, yeah.
Sandoval played there.
See Syndergaard starting to come back with that fastball and starting to locate it better and better as each inning goes along.
His last 6 outs have all been via the strikeout, and he's ahead of Hernan Perez 1-2. And he strikes him out with a slider. 8 strikeouts for Syndergaard, including the last 4 hitters.
This is getting repetitive. He throws the fastball on the outside corner, comes back with a slider that starts at the same place, but the bottom drops off. So it's hard to even blame the hitters, because you see fastball recognition out of his hand, ends up being a slider.
So Syndergaard has now struck out 7 of the last 8 hitters. The only interruption was Scooter Gennett's hit in front of Cespedes in the 3rd. Here's Alex Presley, who flied out his first time up, and he takes a fastball strike. And where Syndergaard's fastball command was off the first inning or 2, it's not off anymore.
Throwing a lot of 2-seam fastballs today. I can't get over that there's so little movement in the windup for Noah and the speed that he generates. It's beyond me.
Oh-2. And the curveball. Presley held up the swing. 1-2.
This is like if Paul Bunyan decided to play baseball. This is the equivalent.
All he needs is a blue ox. Go well with the hammer. Pop foul. That'll go out of play.
So we haven't seen a lot of changeups. So Presley's done a pretty good job the last 2 pitches, fouling off the fastball of Noah Syndergaard. Let's see if Rene counters with a changeup down and away out of the strike zone. 1-2 count. There it is.
Missed with it.
So doesn't really have a feel for his curve. Doesn't really have the great feel for his changeup. Has it for his slider. Has it now has started to have it for his fastball.
Well, he went through 3 different options.
And Rene called timeout. Said he had gone through the 4th pitch. He wanted to call timeout. Go ahead and reshuffle the deck. Put the fastball in.
Presley bangs one off his leg.
Gary, you know why he does that? If you go through a lot of signs and your pitcher has to wait for you to get to that fastball in, you want to call time because you want your pitcher to reset. You want to give him the sign he wants and have just a natural, great tempo to it, as opposed to your pitcher sitting out there for a long time, going through the signs, and maybe then not executing the pitch.
One-two coming. And Presley makes contact again and fouls it away. And Presley giving a better tussle to Syndergaard than anybody he's faced the last couple of innings.
So fastball in, has been fouled off. Fastball away, fouled off. Doesn't have a feel for the changeup. Curveball either. Let's see if he goes slider down and in. Love Rivera's heads down. What he's doing there is thinking. There we go. The slider down and in.
1-2. Slapped down to third, a foul ball. Well, 8 pitches deep in this at bat to Presley, and Syndergaard still trying to put him away.
I'm going along with you, Renee, trying to see what you're going to call. I'm out of digits. I don't know. It's up to you. I'm at a loss.
Wants a changeup.
Fist pump.
And it's pulled right into the glove of Campbell. That retires the side. 1-2-3 inning for Syndergaard as he finally disposes of Presley. Still 1-1 at Citi Field. Fourth inning. Shot of the Brooklyn Bridge. Mets and Brewers tied 1-1. Michael Conforto will lead off for New York, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Well, like most lefty swingers born in the early 90s in Seattle, Michael Conforto grew up a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan. Said he's been trying to emulate his swing ever since he was 4 or 5 years old. Now, Conforto gave up on the one-handed finish, but he still does go back actually from time to time and watch tape of how Griffey swings as Conforto tries to perfect his own approach at the plate. He says what he looks for with Griffey, and you can see it in every single one of Griffey's swings, is that he has this incredible way to turn his lower body but keep his upper body cocked and ready to go. Said that torque and separation allows you to keep your bat in the zone a lot longer, and with that you can make adjustments and drive the ball to any place that you want to drive it to. I found it fascinating because you see most guys look at their own swings, but for Conforto to go back from time to time and still watch swings of someone he wants to be like, it's pretty impressive.
You know, I have this theory that most big league hitters are a composite of people they really grew up watching, because that's what you take out to the wiffle ball field. That's what you take out before you play in a game. You're trying to emulate your big league players, and from each of them you take some of their strengths. And Ken Griffey Jr., well, that's a good guy to emulate.
Griffey, who was being honored this weekend in Cincinnati because the Mariners are playing the Reds, is a team for whom he had his best days against his hometown team.
I pitched against Junior. He was the best all-around player that I had ever played against.
Now, to a layman, correct me if I'm wrong, when I watched Conforto's swing compared to Griffey's, Griffey had a little more of an uppercut.
No,
a pure home run hitter.
Yeah, Griffey was a pure home run leader, and it resulted in how many home runs he hit. But you saw a point of impact, which is the key. That was a little bigger swing by Conforto. At point of impact, everything was the same. Straight front leg, the use of the bottom half, and at contact it was the same. Conforto's comes around his body, and when you watch Griffey Jr., it was one hand off and lift. Yeah. And he was trying to get that backspin, which is more. Conforto is going to hit home runs, which he has in this game. Line drive hitter, though.
And he draws a walk here. First walk given up by Chase Anderson. And the Mets get the leadoff man on in the fourth. That'll bring up Cespedes with the man on. Who's Hot, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And he's been hot since the first day of the season, hasn't he?
He really has. We were talking about composites before. He reminds me of players I pitched against, from Pedro Guerrero to Jeffrey Leonard to Jack Clark. Those are the guys that dangerous guys when they got in the box. And Yoenis is better than all of them.
I'll tell you what, he's not an exact comparison, but just in terms of the ferocity of his swing, he always reminds me of Gary Sheffield.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he doesn't have the bat wiggle or any of that kind of stuff. He's very quiet.
They're your home run leaders in the National League. Cespedes tied with Nolan Arenado. I like this one I saw today. Since Cespedes arrived with the Mets last August 1st, he's got 31 home runs, which is phenomenal. That's the most home runs in the major league since August 1st of last year for anybody not named Chris Davis.
Yeah.
The two Chris Davises, Chris with a C and Chris with a K, each have 32.
Well, Chris has what, 10 this month, or 9 or 10 this month? 3 in one game this week. The K.
The K Chris out in Oakland. Used to be with Milwaukee. 1-2 now to Cespedes. Good cutter there from Anderson. Just enough movement to fool Cespedes.
I think when Cespedes decides before 2 strikes that he's going to let the hammer fly, it's flying. Now with 2 strikes, he's a little more controlled. And I think that's one of the reasons he hit that changeup out of the ballpark yesterday. It fooled him, but you know, I always judge home run hitters when they don't catch it and it goes out of the ballpark. Those are the home run hitters.
We showed it yesterday. Of his 14 home runs, only 4 have come on fastballs. It's this one in the air to shallow left, and Braun coming on. And he drops it in front of him and lands behind him. Conforto goes to third. Cespedes digging for second, and he arrives safely. Looked like a routine fly ball off the bat, and Braun looked like he got a good jump on it, but he just couldn't get there.
Well, what happens with Cespedes is these guys play so deep, so anything in front of them. Remember, Ryan Braun started as the third baseman, then went to left field. They decided right field was the best place for him, and now he's back in left field. A nice job by Conforto, because you have to think that's going to be caught, but he didn't assume that. So he went halfway, which got him to third base and got a double for Cespedes. Cespedes has got to think this is a can of corn, and he did. But he turned it into a double.
You really have to turn on the Jets at the end. Remember, he still is wary about sliding. So that certainly affected the way he went to the bag. Here's Neil Walker pulling one foul. So the Mets have the table set, second and third and nobody out. Walker at a soft line drive to second his first time up. Brewers have the infield back with the exception of the third baseman Perez, and now the right side is moving in with 1 strike. They're looking to the bench for instructions. Scooter Gennett doesn't know where they want him to go. Now he moves back. So the corners are basically in.
To all you folks who downplay defense, I don't know how to tell you folks, that ball at this league has to be caught every single time by every single team. You know, I don't know what happened to Ryan playing deep or whatever, but you can't have a big hitter like Cespedes pop up a ball and be standing on second base with no outs. I don't care how many home runs or RBIs you hit. It just, you know, wears your team out over the course of a season when outs are turned into not only hits, but doubles.
Maybe it was the collector's fault. One and one to Walker. And the sinker misses away. 2-1.
Neal's at bats have looked a lot different the last 3 or 4 days, haven't they? He's been on more pitches. Cabrera on deck. More line drives. This is where the Mets have to start a steady push. Runners in scoring position.
Well, they got a couple of big ones yesterday. A 2-out hit from Cabrera to score a run, and then the game-winning hit by Wright. But the Mets as a team for the season hitting just .210 with runners in scoring position. And getting runners in from third, that's been a problem too. Mets are under 50% this year. Below the league average.
Listen, they're going to hit their bombs, but if they get themselves to 240, 245, maybe 250 with runners in scoring position, then you're going to see the 6 and 7 run games.
Conforto at third, Cespedes at second, and Walker wastes away the curveball, stays in there at 2-2. Seventh pitch of the at bat coming from Anderson to Walker. Well, the Mets right at the bottom of the National League, hitting with runners in scoring position.
Phillies have done it without scoring a lot of runs. D-backs, you think that's got to change. Goldschmidt hasn't got off the start that he usually has.
Two coming, and he struck him out with a changeup. That's a big strikeout for Chase Anderson for the first out of the inning. His fourth strikeout of the day.
Tip your cap to Chase Anderson. Cespedes ball becomes a double. Didn't hang his head and came back with a fine effort against Walker, who stayed in the at bat for a long time, and then he threw a perfect changeup down and away.
Now, I'd say in some circumstances, with some right-handers on the mound, you'd consider walking Cabrera to pitch to Campbell, but Anderson's been so much more effective against the lefties than the righties.
Well, the changeup is his best pitch, so that's the pitch working away from the left-handed hitter.
And he struck out Cabrera his first time up. And as Grubel takes low and in, I mean, the numbers are startling for Anderson. The righties coming into the day hitting .340 against him, and the lefties just .192.
I mean, you never see those kind of numbers.
Certainly not for a right-hander. And now behind on Cabrera 2-0. Well, the Mets still lead the pack. The highest percentage of runs coming from home runs. But the Orioles are a first-place team as well. So are the Mariners. Let's see if he challenges Cabrera here. 2-0. You got Campbell standing on deck. Conforto at third, Cespedes at second, and Cabrera fouls off the fastball, so he came right after him. 2-1. Chase Anderson, who carried a no-hitter into the 8th inning his last start against the Cubs, one of 4 pitchers to carry a no-hitter into the 8th this year. Of course, Jake Arrieta threw a no-hitter, and 2 other pitchers were pulled with no-hitters intact. Ross Stripling and Adam Conley.
That's right. And Arrieta had the other one, didn't he? That he didn't finish.
Two and two now to Cabrera.
See, now that's an interesting at bat, and probably why Cabrera is thinking about it right now. 2-1. What are you sitting on, Gary? Fastball, something away. Got a curveball down in and fouled it. That's a pitch that he's probably saying to himself, how did I swing at that? That's not the pitch I'm looking for.
Well, Anderson struck out Walker with runners at second and third. He'd certainly love to strike out Cabrera. He got the infield playing back, conceding a run on a grounder. And he comes up and in, and a full count to Asdrubal.
Well, that was the fastball in to set up the changeup away on the 3-2 count. So he was trying to paint Cabrera in, hopefully get a strikeout called. But he always had in mind, I would think, we'll see what happens here, always had in mind that the changeup would be the 3-2 pitch, just like he did to Walker.
3-2 coming. And the curveball lined into right for a base hit. Conforto is in. Cespedes right behind him. The throw to the plate by Presley, not in time. Cabrera gets a 3-2 curveball and deposits it into right for 2 runs, and the Mets lead it 3-1.
Well, there's your hit with runners in scoring position. Cabrera, who's been one of the shiniest of Mets starters, had that breaking ball on 2-1. Was unhappy with himself. I said a changeup was coming, and that was not to be. Anderson went with the breaking ball, and Cabrera was all over it. Nice throw by Presley. And the no sliding Cespedes beats it to home. Cespedes has that 5th gear. We've seen it all here the last 4 months of play.
Eventually he's going to have to slide. But as long as he doesn't have to, that's just fine too. Campbell fouls one off the right side of play. Campbell lined out to left field his first time up. So the Mets have gone in front for the first time today. Walk to Conforto. The poorly played ball off the bat of Cespedes that brought a lot to fall in front of him for a double, and the Mets take advantage of that. You know, I said before that Cespedes swings as hard as Sheffield. You know who he runs like? Guy about the same size? Willie Mays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got the same running style.
I thought Willie always had a little more chug in him.
Yeah, but that
once he got moving, okay.
When they're in full stride.
Yeah. Okay. I never got to see Willie Mays play East Coast West Coast thing.
But they're both built low to the ground.
Yeah.
You know, 5'10" ish.
Yeah.
Massively strong. Oh, 0-2 to Campbell.
You know, when you look at baseball players, almost every other professional sport, the players in that sport cannot play baseball at all. Can't throw, can't hit. Almost all the ball players that played other sports. Imagine what Cespedes would have done as a 25-year-old at the NFL Combine. He would have done anything. 225, 30 times. Sprinting, 4 or 5.
Where would you play him? Would you make him a tailback, or is he a DB?
Wherever he decided to play. No, I think you know, because he would have been training for football, he probably would have been 20 pounds heavier with muscle. So you know, he might be your strong safety guy coming in and destroying the world. How tall is Cespedes? 5'10"?
5'10",
okay.
yeah. Difficult inning for Anderson that started with a leadoff walk. 2-2 now to Campbell. 28 pitches deep in this inning for Anderson after he gave up just the home run to Conforto over the first 3 innings. Cabrera at first and 1 out. And the curveball strikes out Campbell. And Lucroy took a hit.
On the follow through from Campbell, maybe.
Yep.
You know, he had concussion issues last year, so always worried about that. Good breaking ball here. Let's see where the follow through goes one-handed. Yep, caught him right off the top of the mask.
He took a broken bat off the mask yesterday and another foul ball off the mask, and now gets hit by the follow through of Campbell. So it's Not fun times back there for Lucroy. 2 out. Now here's Rivera, who struck out his first time up. And Rene takes curveball in the dirt. Cabrera takes off, and he makes it to second base. That's some heads-up base running by Cabrera. Took off as soon as that ball hit the dirt.
Again, we've always talked about watching Cabrera play every day, the intelligence that he brings to the ballpark every day. And you have to anticipate it's going to be in the dirt if you're thinking of going. And he had the secondary lead, saw it in the dirt, and took a chance to get in scoring position.
Well, often you'd say, well, maybe that's not a great play. Now they walk their 8-hitter and pitch to the pitcher. I don't think they'll do that with Syndergaard on deck.
Can't do it.
One and 0 to Rivera. Pickoff try. VR tags him out. No, he might have had him, but the safe call given by the second base umpire Jim Wolf.
It's good a pickoff play as we've seen from a pitcher and shortstop in quite some time.
I think they had him, Ronnie, didn't they?
Great timing. Might not have ever tagged him, Gary. Never got there.
Did he get the elbow?
You know, Anderson was a little early, so that's why VR never got to the bag in time. And I don't know if he ever got his elbow. Now, I can't see properly if he ever got there.
Yeah, you can't see if there's contact between the glove and the elbow. And remember, the strings of the glove don't count.
We'll be able to see here. Did he get on there?
And the Brewers are going to challenge. It's close.
Still hard to tell.
Real close.
I mean, let's say this. The ball beat him, and if he did tag him, he's definitely out. But
well,
right there, it's...
Call on the field was safe, which certainly works in the Mets' favor in terms of the possibility of it being overturned.
This is what happens if you're a shortstop, though. If you reach for the tag and you get him, you hold the glove up. If you reach for the tag and you don't, you keep falling him to his hand because you haven't touched him. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, it looked like VR was not sure.
That's right.
After reaching for the tag. This is a tough one. Play Under Review brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters.
That was such a good move.
Appear to have a quick decision.
VR and Anderson, such a good move. No, they're just changing headphones.
We had readjustment of the headsets.
Well, one guy likes it a little tighter. Other guy likes it from the left side. Just like here in the booth. I don't think he got him. That's my personal feeling. Ball beat him. Great move from Anderson. Had his hand was not on the base. He's reaching for him. If you get him, you would have lifted your hand on the base. You would have lifted your hand straight up if you got him.
We might have a technical difficulty with the gym bag and the headsets.
No, you know. So. You know when you went to the gym, you don't always have your stuff in the gym bag. You're like, I can't believe I missed my headphones. I'll just call him safe then. Gary Cederstrom is all verklempt with the glasses all over his face. Yeah.
So the Mets win that call, and the Brewers lose their challenge for the day. So the call stands, which means they couldn't definitively tell one way or another.
Or the headset didn't work.
No. That's always a problem.
Night game, a day game after a day game.
Rivera swings and misses at a sinker, and it's 1-1. Mets have 2 runs home here in the 4th. Chase Anderson up over 30 pitches in the inning. And he throws the cutter on the outside corner, 1-2.
I don't know what the outcome of this game is going to be, but Chase Anderson, solid pitcher. Got 4 good pitches.
His 3rd year in the major leagues. Hooked down the left field line. That'll go foul. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Modell's. Shop Modell's Sporting Goods, your fan gear headquarters. Come on, Met fans, you got to go to Moe's. The We'll be in our lofty perch at Nationals Park tomorrow night.
That's your game. Just let you call it and try to get out of the way.
Up on the 7th floor, which they now call the 5th floor because 7th sounded too high.
I mean, I asked you this before. Is it a little lower than your seat when you used to sit in the back row at Shea Stadium?
It's almost exactly the same as sitting in the upper deck at Shea. I think it's great.
A little vertigo myself, but
it's very high. So much higher than any other booth we go to. And Rivera strikes out on the cutter to end the inning. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Anderson, but he certainly didn't strike out the side. He gave up 2 runs. As Dribble Cabrera with the base hit that brought them both in. And the Mets lead 3-1 as we go to the 5th at Citi Field. The Pix 11 news team with breaking news as it happens. Caitlin Monty has up to the minute traffic, and Linda Church with the forecast. 6 to 9 on the Pix 11 morning news, where every story hits home. I like the variety of Mets caps in that group.
One is camouflage. Oh, look at that one.
That's terrific. Got to get my wife one of those. She loves the pink hats.
She does.
Oh yeah.
I like what Major League Baseball's done, you know, to include moms and daughters, and surprised that hasn't come earlier. Some of these hitters for the Brewers trying to utilize the bunt.
Ramon Flores took a call, 3rd strike, his first time up. Yeah, it's the bat and ball sets were given out today as part of the Play Ball initiative.
I like that because you know, Bat Day has gone the way of the dodo bird. So it's nice to see that kids can go home and unwrap it and play a little ball.
Well, what's nice about the wiffle ball set is that you can play in a more confined space without destroying anything.
I don't know. My brothers used to be able to destroy the house with a wiffle ball.
Well, you have to stand more than 5 feet from the house.
I've never seen my brothers.
Well, I have seen your brothers.
They're huge.
You're all big.
They're huge.
Right back to Syndergaard. He doesn't know where it is. And Flores able to beat it out. I don't know if he thought that ball was in his glove, but he didn't react well after he deflected it.
He waved everyone off. What happened, Gary, is that it hit his glove. He thought it was in the glove. And then once it deflected, he knew that it wasn't in his glove, but did not know where the ball was. you're really defending yourself. You're not trying to catch it here. You're trying to defend yourself. And see how close that ball came to getting in the webbing.
Did that deflect off his hand after it hit his glove?
I didn't think so. I think it just he flipped it out of the glove off the end of the glove.
Anderson will stay into sacrifice, and he fouls it off. Anderson, not a good hitter, but a pretty good bunter at 8 sacrifices last year.
Yeah, he's got nice position against the guy throwing 100 miles an hour.
So that's a base hit for Flores, the 4th hit for the Brewers.
Flores had a big game yesterday, didn't he?
The pitch he hit for the home run was up in his eyes. I don't know how he hit it. Right creeping in at third, and Anderson pushes the bunt to first. Campbell thinking about second, but didn't get a good handle on it, and settles for the out at first. The ball was rolling around in his hand. 3-4 on the sacrifice.
So the comebacker to Syndergaard, Gary. Let's see if it hit the end of his glove, and he kind of flips it out of there. And by the time it gets to it, no chance. Watch the glove. It goes to the end of the glove in the webbing. All right. And he flips it right out of there like a highlight. And the Cesta.
If it was a Cesta, it would have stuck. Things are big.
He throws hard, just like the, you know.
Well, that Pelota goes 150 miles an hour. Here's Jonathan Villar with the runner at second and 1 out. Villar has hit a comebacker and struck out 0 for 2 today, but he's had a good series, 4 for 11. Did you see the ground ball yesterday where Villar tried to go from second to third?
I did. I was watching that game when I came back. My son Jordan graduated yesterday, so when I came back, I put the game on straight away.
He played in the top of the 9th yesterday against Familia. Villar hit one that almost went out of the ballpark to left center, hit off the top of the fence, and then was thrown out on a ground ball to short. Little dribbler, and Rivera pounces on it. Throws out Villar as Flores goes to third, 2 away. What were your thoughts about that play yesterday?
You know, I listened to it and I heard what Keith was saying, and for the most part, he's absolutely right. The only issue for Villar is that Cabrera was behind him. So your deal usually, I think, and I was told, now it could be different what Keith was told, but if the ball is to this side, you go. And a couple of reasons why. One, it's a tough throw for the shortstop. And 2, there was 1 out. So almost every infielder in baseball, shortstop in baseball, goes to first, gets to 2 outs, and you hope the pitcher can get the guy out while he's on third base. But Cabrera turned the tables on him by making that throw because he had a great touch on it.
Scooter Gennett grounds one down to first. And Campbell makes the play to Syndergaard, and that retires the side. So Syndergaard works around that leadoff infield hit. We're halfway through, 3-1 New York. costume and the hair. That's very well thought out. Does he have this hammer?
No hammer.
To get that young man a hammer. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Mets up 3-1. Syndergaard will take his second at bat against Chase Anderson, who threw 35 pitches in the Mets' 2-run fourth. Syndergaard struck out his first time up. He rockets one down the line. Foul.
We saw that in Los Angeles after he hit the 2 home runs. He is awfully quick inside.
Oh, yeah, that first foul ball he hit into the stands in L.A., that was a rocket.
Chris Hatcher, I think, was the pitcher.
Pulls that one foul.
You know, for all of his prowess, and he's going to end up being a good hitter to go along with great power, it's kind of hit or miss for Noah. It's a home run or a strikeout.
So far, he's 2 for 15. Both his hits are home runs. He broke his bat on that last swing.
So he goes to the two strike bat because, you know, up to 2 strikes you use the black bat, and then you go to the white one with 2 strikes.
Seriously, though, why would a hitter, whether it's a pitcher or anybody else, use a different style of bat? Did he run out of his own bat?
You run out of bats as a pitcher.
That's hit in the air to right. Presley, though, has it lined up. And he catches the sinking line drive for the first out.
Gary, there was a day that, you know, you were lucky to have maybe 2 bats if you were a pitcher. Luckily, most pitchers don't make contact, so there's no threat of breaking your bat. I remember when Chipper Jones was still playing for Atlanta, he had a different bat, a black bat for, I don't know what side of the plate, but for each side of the plate, he had a different color bat.
I'm thinking Noah Syndergaard will get as many bats as he wants.
Yeah, yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Granderson's 1 for 2 today.
His issue probably is bat companies are banging down his door to represent him.
Who do you think's getting more attention from the bat companies, Noah or Bartolo Colon?
That's interesting. If I were a company, I would start right now and make only 1 bat just for Bartolo. The big sexy bat.
Bartolo will get the assignment tomorrow night in D.C. Did not fare well against the Nationals the other day. He's had 2 bad starts in a row. He needs a good one tomorrow night. Mets need it too. After losing 2 out of 3 to the Nats this past week.
And that showed, I think, showed the Mets something. You know, after Syndergaard was so good that first night to come back and win 2 games. I've said this all season long. The season started on this homestand on May 17th. That first game against the Nats on Tuesday. Both of these ball clubs are going to beat up on some of the lower placed teams in the National League. And what they do head to head is going to have a big decision on who wins this division.
Nats are up 4-0 in Miami today in the 6th. They've got Scherzer going today. Mets will face Gio Gonzalez tomorrow night, Steven Strasburg Tuesday night, and then Tanner Roark on Wednesday afternoon. Mets have Colon, Harvey, and Matz going in the 3 games. And the changeup misses. Granderson draws a walk, and Curtis is on base for the 2nd time. Second walk given up by Anderson. He's up to 90 pitches on the afternoon.
Matt's pitching Tuesday. He pitched a simulated game, right, Gary, or somewhat of that kind of game. So
well, it was the hidden simulated game, the one they didn't want anybody to watch.
How come if it's hidden, everyone knows about it?
It was because he was right in the middle of the stadium at 1:30 in the afternoon before a 4 o'clock game.
Well, go down in the Queens Park over here where they have the stuff. Throw over there.
I don't understand. What did they think was going to happen? Why, did they think nobody was going to try to watch? Come on. Here's David Wright, who's grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. I mean, we had video and everything.
We did?
We did. We showed it during the game yesterday.
This is a chance to try to get Wright going. He usually wouldn't do this when he was in his prime. How about starting a runner? You're ahead by 2 strikes. It's a 1-0 count. Start the runner and do something.
You mean play hit and run?
Hit and run.
Can't imagine the last time David was asked to play hit and run.
Well, this is a different David Wright. This is a new normal. You got to do different things. Open up this infield. Make people move.
I mean, traditionally, your number 2 hitter was a guy who you could play hit and run with.
So I choke up on the bat, hit the ball the other way, take pitches for a base stealer.
In this modern day, the 2 hitter has become more of a run producer. A lot of teams are hitting their best run producer second.
Mike Trout and others.
I mean, I remember back in the day when Ryne Sandberg didn't want to hit third. He always wanted to hit second. And the Cubs were ridiculed for that because their best, you know, one of their best run producers was hitting second, not third or fourth. 3-0 to Wright. Would he be swinging again?
Why not? He's not. He didn't look it tough.
He's not asking permission. It's a strike. That was a great line by David after the game. He said, "I didn't look." He said, "It's better to ask forgiveness than permission."
That's what we do here every day.
I believe we've done it 2 or 3 times already today. 3-1 now with Granderson at first, and David pops one up. Shallow right. Late start for Presley, but he'll get in there, and he's got it for the second out.
It's either he doesn't look down at Tough 3-0 or he and Tough are going through a difficult time. We'll have to figure it out.
Terry said, "I never gave him a sign because I knew he wouldn't look."
It's Tough. It's going to be it's interesting for Tough. I was thinking for Keith and I, who work here every day up here in the booth, it's going to be a different thing. But how about Tough? He's on that field working every single day.
It's going to be hard for him to do a lot of celebrating with you guys next weekend. So Chris Capuano, the former Met, up in the bullpen for the Brewers. Michael Conforto delivered the big blow for the Mets in the first inning. A 425-foot bomb into the visitors' bullpen.
This is how old I'm getting. I don't think I can celebrate with the '86 team anymore.
Well, it'll be 2 weekends in a row for you. You had a big celebration this weekend.
That's right.
Your son Jordan graduating from Iona. Congratulations.
Thank you. All my brothers are here, so it was a really cool thing. Nieces, nephews. We took up a whole row in the theater at MSG, which was pretty funny. Oh, hey.
Iona at Shea. There you go. Perfect.
Nice catch, guys.
So the Heinz Auditorium wasn't big enough to hold the Iona graduation.
Or maybe just my family.
And for the second straight hitter, Anderson falls behind 3-0.
Conforto now takes a peek at Tough. Tough hands on hips.
Oh, that was a strike. So it's 2-1.
Okay.
Reset.
My fault. Too busy talking about Iona. The 2-1 changeup has been a good pitch for Anderson. Successful pitch for Anderson. One to Walker. Here to one to Conforto.
Cespedes would be next. 2-2 to Conforto with Granderson at first and 2 out. Mets up 3-1 in the 5th. And Conforto takes the curveball outside, 3-2. The curveball got Anderson in trouble the last inning when he got one in the middle of the plate to Cabrera, and he singled to drive in 2. See what he features here on 3-2. Now this pitch count is right at 100.
Well, anything middle of plate away, you would think that Conforto will be all over it. 2 strikes. Changeup is coming. Should be looking to go that way.
Granderson gets set to run, and Conforto pops it up. Got a changeup, and Flores, the first baseman, makes the grab, and that retires the side. So Conforto retired for the first time today. After 5, Syndergaard heads back to the mound with a 3-1 lead. date in Mets history. It was 18 years ago today that Mike Piazza was acquired after his week-long stint as a Florida Marlin. This was his memorable home run on September 21st, 2001. That's a reaction to a different home run.
Was that trade was that trade as big as Keith's trade in '83?
I think it was somewhat different in this regard.
Okay.
In '83, the Mets were not ready to win yet.
Okay.
In '98, they were.
Oh,
and
okay.
Piazza was viewed as the piece not to put them over the top at some point in the future, but to do that at that particular moment. Because the Mets had everything else in place except for that big star in the middle of their lineup.
So it was, although this one happened in the winter, if Gary Carter had been traded in season, it was that kind of trade.
I think it was more like the Carter trade, the
Okay.
final piece kind of thing.
Okay.
But, you know, there was no bigger star in the game at that point than Piazza. And, you know, he had the falling out with the Dodgers. They traded him to the Marlins kind of as punishment.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a 6-day way station.
I know about that. Mine was in Montreal.
You had 3 weeks, right?
Poor Montreal.
I always tell you this. During your brief stint in Montreal, you were in Dodger Stadium, and I was doing a game of the week there, and I saw you in the Expos clubhouse, and you had the most bewildered look on your face, like you had no idea what had happened and what was going to happen.
I was lost at sea. I was taking a standing 8 count for 3 weeks.
But they loved you in Montreal because you spoke French.
Well, they loved it. They loved it. The interviews went well. The post-game interviews after I pitched went really well.
Braun grounds one down to right, and David's throw is on target for the first out.
Piazza, okay, 5. I have to ask you because you're the caretaker of this of Mets history to me. So it's franchise. I'm not putting any order. Franchise, Dwight and Doc, Piazza and Keith. Those are your 5 most popular Mets of all time.
Popular is I wouldn't use the word popular because guys like Mookie and Reyes and Lenny, they were all popular, right?
All right.
I think most impactful.
Impactful is a good word. Okay,
yeah.
Better word.
So sorry. It's Seaver, Piazza, Keith, Doc, Darryl.
Yeah.
And Carter might be in that too.
Yeah. Okay. You know, you run into some troubles when you make these lists, by the way.
Yeah.
I found out that recently.
Well, that's true. Let's just say this. The number 31's going up on the wall.
Yeah.
After that, who goes next is tough, is difficult.
Well, there's a lot of guys have had different histories here, you know, and they're kind of lumped all together, aren't they?
And I think some of the stuff that's happened away from the field affects those decisions.
Of course. Rightfully so. You know, you got to take a extra look at it.
Jonathan Lucroy drove in the only run against Syndergaard. It was an unearned run in the first inning today. And Syndergaard, at one point in the 2nd through 4th innings, struck out 7 batters in a span of 8 hitters. He's got 8 strikeouts for the day. And Lucroy just able to waste away that 98-mile-an-hour sinker.
You know how some people are bigger Hall of Fame guys? You know, more people the merrier. I'm more in that group than the just constricted, especially when it comes to numbers in an organization. Personally.
See, I like the way the Mets have done it.
Like really slow.
Keep it. I mean, you have a Mets Hall of Fame for, you know, which is
all this stuff. Yeah.
Which is more open.
Yeah.
Where, you know, a lot of folks who are really good go. Strikeout number 9 for Syndergaard as he gets Lucroy 2 out. But to me, the retired number, that's only for the elite of the elite.
4-seamer, And the fastball has gotten Lucroy. The breaking ball is the only pitch he's put in play. Well, if this helps you at all, Gary, of all the listed people, if I somehow am in the periphery of that pie, I'm going to tell you right now that I would like to be, if that ever comes to pass, I got to be out of the booth first before that happens. Is that all right?
I can't guarantee you anything.
Come on.
I'm not in charge.
Well, you got to play a part at some point. You know people. Come on.
I know people who know people. On to the Nieuwenhuis, who continues to have big problems making contact.
I was going to say maybe at Citi Field, but this is where he hit his 3 bombs.
Just off the plate, and Syndergaard was heading to the dugout, but Adrian Johnson wouldn't give him the call, and Noah has to come back.
Oh, he's got it. Got the hammer, Gary.
Got to put the hammer down.
Here it comes.
1-2. Struck him out. Number 10 for Noah Syndergaard. Now you can put the hammer down. A 3-1 lead. All this week, Steve Gelb's been following the progress of Steven Matz between his starts, and Steve brings us up to date.
Well, Gary, yesterday for Steven Matz, he really gave that left arm a rest. Today, the second day after his start, was all about getting the arm going again. He came in about 9:30 this morning, did some cardio, did some sprints, but then he did a SCAPS workout, which is basically a way to strengthen the stabilizing muscles around the shoulder blade. It protects the rotator cuff a little bit and adds more power to the shoulder and to the arm. Then he came out, did some light, long tossing, not a lot of effort, but just a way to stretch out the arm a little bit. Then came back inside and did something that is new to him this season, new to his routine. It's called manuals. And basically what he does when he's doing manuals is he gets a full range of motion going with his left arm, but there's a trainer in there giving him a little bit of resistance on that. And the reason it's important to Matz is that Steven does not like to stretch. He says that he thinks when he throws, that gets the stretching out of the way. And to stretch more with the arm, his arm feels a little too loose. He doesn't feel like he has the same amount of control. So with manuals, it gets the stretching accomplished, but also adds a little bit of a burn, a little bit of strength for Steven Matz, and he likes that better. Feels like it's better for him in between starts.
Yoenis Cespedes leading off for the Mets in the home sixth, and that one crossed up Lucroy as Jan Marinez making his first appearance for the Brewers, was not on the same page with his catcher.
There's nobody on base, so why the no habla? Caught him right on the wrist and then the mask. This is why catchers hate pitchers at times. Jan Marinez, who came over from Tampa Bay, made a couple of outings with them. If you'll watch, very, very shy in the stretch position.
Several changes for the Brewers defensively. We'll catch up in a moment. 2-0 to Cespedes. And he bangs one off his leg. Hernan Perez moved from third base to first base. Aaron Hill came in to play third base. You saw him. He's batting ninth. Ramon Flores moved from first base to center field. Kirk Nieuwenhuis came out of the game, so the pitcher is sitting in the 5-hole. Nieuwenhuis made the last out.
Gary, this is what I meant by the shyness here.
Oh. And that one goes over the head of Cespedes. And he gives a little glare out at Marinez.
Now this is a guy throwing for the first time for a new organization. Obviously not trying to hit Cespedes, but when you're a player in the other team, you're like, what's going on here? Right at his coconut.
That was scary. Jonathan Villar just came in from shortstop to try and calm down Marinez, who clearly is a little out of sorts.
Trying to overthrow and never came close, and luckily Cespedes got the head out of the way. That's old school, getting out of the way of a pitch.
See how he responds to it here. Takes a big cut and fouls it off. 3-2.
One of the other things you like about Cespedes, he's got no fear. None.
Marinez pitched in the big leagues briefly with the Marlins and the White Sox before this year, but pretty much untested. And he walks Cespedes to lead off the inning.
Marinez setup is very much like Santiago Casilla for the San Francisco Giants.
Now Neil Walker, who's 0 for 2 today, 1 for 9 in this series. Chase Anderson went 5 innings through 101 pitches, 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. And Cespedes, who was putting on his running gloves, casually goes back to the bag.
Well, that's what happens when you are a star. You got batting gloves, you got the running gloves.
How much concern should there be with the fact that Cespedes is either not able to or reluctant to slide?
Well, I think we've seen him slide once in this series, right? The steal of third base. This series Nationals.
That was head first.
Yeah, head first.
Yeah.
So, you know, if he has to, he's going to. Now, I know for a lot of old school folks out there, it's like, well, just slide and suck it up. It's part of the game. But you're hoping that he's going to be an intelligent enough runner to know when to take the extra base, when he's going to be in safely, and it won't be a close play. Listen, if you don't have this guy in the lineup because he slides, I don't even know what the Mets are going to do offensively.
Well, when he slid in Atlanta, which was about a week after he first banged up that leg going into the stands, it took him out of action for 4 or 5 days.
So you have 2 options out there, folks. You want him to slide, or you want him to play every day for the rest of the season. I opt for door number 2.
I wonder at what point that bruise will be healed enough that he'll feel comfortable getting down and sliding. Marinez really struggling. 2-2.
It's a young man who's been traded over. It's first appearance for these Brewers, and he's nervous, and you can see it in his pitching.
2-2 to Walker with Cabrera on deck. And that slider misses, and now a full count. So a 3-2 walk to Cespedes, and now a 3-2 count to Walker.
Three 3-1 skinny lead. I still don't think Cespedes is going to run because of the hole.
Not going, and Walker fouls off the fastball. Funny thing is, Marinez in the 3 games he pitched for Tampa Bay this year didn't walk anybody. Maybe he likes pitching indoors.
I know. I just think it's nerves. It's nerves at the first time with your new team. You really want to impress. You want to break the radar gun. Heart's beating fast. That was a wrong statement by me. The hole's going to be there no matter what. I just don't think he's going to run because of Walker's tendency to strike out.
Well, also the other day they ran him on a 3-2 pitch. Walker struck out, and because he isn't sliding, he got tagged out easily at second base. Prefer not to do that again. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming to Walker. And there'll be a ninth. Around the Majors brought to you by your Tri-State BMW Centers. Detroit got a great pitching performance by the former Met prospect Michael Fulmer yesterday, and they're winning again today, 6-4 over Tampa Bay.
What did Fulmer have, 11 Ks?
11 strikeouts in 7, his best outing to date. Of course, he was the guy the Mets dealt to the Tigers to get Yoenis Cespedes last summer. That kid doesn't care. Foul tipped and held by Lucroy, and Walker is struck out for the 2nd time today.
It's a sinking fastball away, foul tipped into the glove of Lucroy. Good catch.
So here's Cabrera, who delivered the 2 runs that put the Mets in front in the 4th inning. We talk a lot about how the Mets have struggled with runners in scoring position. Well, not Cabrera, not lately. 5 hits in his last 8 at bats with runners in scoring position, including that go-ahead hit in the 4th inning today. How many different kinds of Mets hats do you think they make at this point in the world? I'd love to get a count. See, in the old days, the only ones they'd sell are the ones they wear in the games.
Yeah.
And in the mid-90s, they wanted to sell a white cap.
Really?
They wore them in games. I think it was 6 times they were planning to wear them regularly. They were so bad. They looked like ice cream men. It was a very nice cap for the fans to wear. It just wasn't a particularly attractive on-field item. Now they can make all sorts of hats that players don't wear. Back-to-back strikeouts from Marinez, and there are 2 out in the inning.
It's a good question, because there's lots of hats out there. Lots of colors, combination of colors. I mean, I can just look down. You got the old blue one here. You got a white and blue one with the white kind of facing. All white with the blue lid. Orange lettering, white lettering. Trying to buy orange.
Mr.
Met. Oh, don't even get me started. Mr. Met on the hat, too.
Eric Campbell takes a strike. Campbell is lined to left and struck out. Do you think every team has as many varieties of hats?
I think every team now. I know the Arizona Diamondbacks have to.
Oh, well. See, that's a perfect example of what I was talking about. You know, they could have sold those Diamondbacks uniforms to fans. They didn't have to put them on the players.
That's right. How about Keith on the likeness on a cap? That's got to sell. Brewers cap, yellow and blue. He has so many likenesses. You don't know what you go with Keith.
1-2 to Campbell. Cespedes at first and 2 out. 1-2 coming to Campbell. And it's taken low. 2-2.
Campbell's made the most of his time playing, hasn't he? He's made some good defensive plays. A couple of hits yesterday.
The more he plays, the better he swings the bat. I think we've seen that over the last couple of weeks. And he takes a slider, strike 3 called. So after the leadoff walk, Marinez retires 3 in a row, all via the strikeout. After 6, 3-1 New York.
Johnny Bench, one of the great catchers of all time. We're going to be talking with Ron Santo, still a Cub fan, huh?
Absolutely.
All the way. You and Harry Carey. George Carlin. They had some outstanding pitchers, but it was a great place to hit.
Yeah.
And our lights are going down.
This is a Now Park film.
That means you're...
You know, it's a Sunday afternoon game, and these were always the days that Ralph would join us in the booth.
That's right.
Till he passed away 2 years ago, and our Sundays are a little less happy.
That's right.
Hernan Perez finds the hole on the right side. He's got a hit to lead off the 7th inning for Milwaukee.
Been impressed with Perez also in his offensive swing. Good little player.
So Perez has his 2nd hit of the day.
Fastball away, but up. Catches more of the middle of the plate. You know, my family last night, because they were all together, were pulling some YouTube things because the young kids were there and they were making fun of me, and one of them was on the Ralph Kiner show, and Ralph gave my line after a particular game, threw a shutout against the team. That's how you got on the Ralph Kiner's Corner show.
And one gets past Rivera, and Perez goes down to 2nd.
And Ralph's line for me, well, thanks Ron Darling for coming on the show today. A shutout against so and so, just off the end of the glove. That could be a pass ball. Here's your line from the game: 9 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 7 career shutouts. It's 7 career strikeouts. That was his call. 7 career strikeouts.
You had more than that.
Yeah, well, at that time I did.
It's a wild pitch charge to Syndergaard. Presley takes up and away, and it's 2-0. So Syndergaard has already struck out 10 today. Finds some instant trouble here in the 7th. You got Presley, the number 7 hitter at the plate. Flores on deck. Syndergaard's been dominant today, has not allowed an earned run, but this is still just a 3-1 game.
And these are the kind of games he's pitched in all season long. In Los Angeles, if it wasn't for his 2-run home runs, he might have been a losing pitcher in that game.
This changeup on 2-0 and fooled Presley. Gary Blevins up in the bullpen. Yeah, Steven Matz has been the guy who's gotten the big time run support so far this year. Presley is flied out and lined out to first, 0 for 2. Another changeup, and it's 2-2. There's your Brewers box score brought to you by Land Rover. Jonathan Lucroy drove in the only Milwaukee run with a first inning single. That was an unearned run. Perez with 2 hits.
Silhouettes.
2-2 to Presley. And he lines one for a base hit. Perez goes to third and pulls in there. Now the Brewers have the tying runs on base. So Presley, who gave Syndergaard fits his last at bat by fouling off pitch after pitch, this time lines one into left field.
Fastball away. Presley's taking some nice at bats up there this afternoon. Former Pirate. Cabrera holding Perez close to second base.
So Syndergaard, who cleared 100 pitches for the first time in a while in his last start. He threw 102 against Washington. He's at 100 today. And now he faces a crisis. First and third and nobody out. Ramon Flores, who lined one off the glove of Syndergaard for an infield hit his last time up. And he bounces the curveball, taking off for second. Presley, the throw by Rivera, and he got him! Huge throw by Rene Rivera as he guns down Presley for the first out of the inning.
Well, great job by Rene, not only to keep this fastball that breaks before the plate in front of him, but on the run to make a perfect throw to get the runner. Bad play by Flores, down 2 runs. Presley down by 2 runs.
Not a caught stealing. 2-6. The play on Presley for the first out of the inning. Perez remains at third with 1 out. Infield back with a 2-run lead. And Flores fouls it off 1-1.
Well, the ball beat him. The tag is up high, but he gets him before he gets that foot in.
And it doesn't matter because the Brewers are out of challenges. They could ask for a crew chief review, but they did not.
Could have stayed with him too because he went past the bag.
One and 2 to Flores. Syndergaard making more liberal use of his changeup here in the 7th inning. Perez at third and 1 out. Aaron Hill is sitting 9th in the order. He's on deck. Jim Henderson up in the bullpen alongside Blevins. 1-2 coming. And he misses with the slider. 2-2.
The one thing we've seen from Noah, he started with his fastball out of the strike zone and kind of low, but we've never seen him really elevate the fastball and get strikeouts today.
2-2 to Ramon Flores. Struck him out. Number 11 for Noah Syndergaard. 2 men down.
Every pitcher gets runners on base. It doesn't matter who you are, even the mighty Kershaw. But it's what you do with those runners on base. Can you make those big pitches to stop those big innings or refuse to let people score from third? And Syndergaard, beautiful pitch there to Flores.
So now 2 out. Perez still with third. Aaron Hill will bat for the first time. Came in on a double switch the last inning. Hill was on base 4 straight times yesterday with a single and 3 walks. And a fastball in for a strike. 99 in the 7th inning.
Halfway to the plate, you think it's going to be a fastball in. And watch the bottom just drop out of this. And Flores misses it, not only because of the speed, but because of the break.
Right at the shortstop, Cabrera's got it. And Syndergaard in and out of trouble in the 7th inning. 11 strikeouts today for Syndergaard. He got plenty of help from Rene Rivera. Stretch time, 3-1 New York. Tri-Honda dealer. Hurry into your local Tri-Honda dealer for great savings on 2016 models. Follow Mets baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app, which includes game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Mets in-game box score brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. Home run Michael Conforto in the 1st inning. 2-run single as Dribble Cabrera in the 4th inning. That's about only 4 hits today, but that's been enough the way Noah Syndergaard pitched. Syndergaard a season-high 109 pitches. As you look at your Toyota line score brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Syndergaard struck out 11 over 7 innings. He's done for the day. Another tremendous effort by Syndergaard, who did not allow an earned run.
What did you say before we started the broadcast? For the rotation that's in flux right now, the known is number 34, and he delivered again today.
Lowered his ERA to 1.94 for the season. Came into the day 5th in the National League in ERA and improved on that. 11 strikeouts, 3rd time this year, 8th time in his career he's reached double figures. So all around exactly the kind of effort the Mets needed after some tenuous starts this week from Colon, Harvey, and DeGrom.
Did he not walk anybody again?
Again.
That's
so he's now at 9 walks and 76 strikeouts for the year. Not quite Kershaw, but not too far off that pace.
Kershaw's not 23 either. He's got 5 more years to get it to about 3 and 100.
Rene Rivera leads off in the home 7th against Jan Marinez. What did you say about Marinez? He was the comeback player of the inning?
That's what I said. Wasn't he? I mean, he almost hit Cespedes twice. And like we said, he was just nervous and then settled down.
Struck out 3 in a row after walking Cespedes. Rivera pops one up into shallow right. And Presley is there. One away. Now Alejandro De Aza is going to bat for Noah Syndergaard. And the last few days, things have really picked up for De Aza as a pinch hitter. Last 3 pinch hitting appearances, 2 singles and a walk.
I wonder for a veteran player like De Aza, I'll ask him this in the upcoming days. I wonder if his position on the bench, as we see Junior Guerra get ready in the bullpen, he's a starting pitcher for them, right? Did he start,
yes.
what, 4 days ago, 3 days ago?
In their rotation, they may be either using him for an inning today or he might just be getting his work in.
Maybe they kept him as a long man just in case, and now he's up throwing. I was saying about De Aza, I wonder if he's not, you never get comfortable, but I wonder if he knows his position now and has resigned himself to the fact if I'm going to have a successful year, I've got to be able to get myself 10 or 12 base hits this year, pinch hitting.
Well, De Aza is a good player whom the Mets envisioned as a platoon man in center field when they signed him. But then everything changed when the Mets were able to re-sign Yoenis Cespedes. And they changed more for De Aza than for anybody else.
It's going to be interesting to hear the news about Lucas and where he's at with his back condition. If it's not serious, then it's no big deal. If it's serious, you know, there's a few options for the Mets to look at. And it's going to be interesting which way they choose.
De Aza hits one out to center field, and Flores is there. And that's the second out. Well, you know, there are some conventional options, and then there are some less conventional options.
You know me, I like the less conventional ones. The conventional ones are easy, and that would be Campbell plays a lot there. De Aza, who's taken some ground balls, could play there. What's one of the more less conventional ones?
Well, I can think of 2 of them.
Okay.
Michael Conforto, which Keith has advocated in the past, because that gives you the ability to play Lagares on a regular basis.
And now your defense is great in the outfield, but might be compromised in the infield.
And then there's what might be a more long-term proposition, and that's moving David Wright across to first base.
I had a third option, but that is that you're going less conventional, my friend. Yes.
I mean, given the throwing issues that he clearly is experiencing, it's certainly something that at some point, whether it's now or a year from now or 2 years from now, they're going to have to consider.
That's a really interesting one. My less conventional one was Walker to first, Dilson Herrera up.
It's another way to go. I mean, Herrera's been tearing it up. And we know that he has very little to prove at AAA anymore.
Here's the craziest one. How about the #1 pick? Is he ready yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, he'd give you the good glove, but I don't know if he's ready to hit at the big league level. Okay. Talking about Dominic Smith.
I should say Dominic Smith.
Granderson a single and a walk today, 1 for 2. I think one of the things that the Mets have been in the market for since the winter, but through spring training and into the early part of the season, is a left-handed hitting infielder, corner infielder. They would be even more in the market for that if Dude is out for an appreciable length of time. But the guy I was thinking of, who just came back from the DL, Yangervis Solarte in San Diego, he'd be perfect for this team.
Good call.
Granderson out on strikes. We go to the 8th. Mets 3, Brewers 1. Well, if there's nothing else the Mets can be sure of, it's when Noah Syndergaard picks up the baseball, big things will happen. 11 more strikeouts for Noah today. No earned runs allowed. No walks allowed. 7 brilliant innings for Syndergaard. And all is right with the Mets when Noah has the baseball in his hand.
Very little happens for the other team.
3-1 New York as we go to the 8th, and now Syndergaard is done after 7 scintillating innings, and Jim Henderson will take over.
Hasn't pitched in 4 days, but his last outing was not his best. Gave up a couple of runs, and the inning will work. First batter faced .316, too high of an average for Jim Henderson.
That's bullpen has been brilliant, and more so in this series. In fact, the last 3 games, Met bullpen has thrown 12 1/3 scoreless innings. But with Addison Reed and Hansel Robles probably both not available today, each worked the last 3 days, Henderson gets the 8th. Jonathan Villar leading off in the 8th inning for Milwaukee. Villar is 0 for 3 today. Scooter Gennett on deck, and then Ryan Braun. So Syndergaard went 7, 1 run not earned, 6 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts, 1 wild pitch.
What's his ERA down to now?
1.94.
It's making a mockery of the game.
That's bullpen best in the majors so far this year, and especially good lately when the starters have not been going deep into games. 3 of the last 4 games going into today, the starter had gone 5 innings or less.
You know what they've been good at also, and ham and egg in it, because after Familia, it's kind of a bullpen by committee, right? Addison really has his role when he's available in the 8th. But Henderson has faltered. Bastardo's picked him up within the inning. Bastardo's faltered. Henderson's picked him up within the inning. Addison Reed is down today. It's Jim Henderson's day to have a 1-2-3 8th.
Villar swings through the fastball. You know what was impressive yesterday? Reed working the 3rd straight day, got himself in trouble, and found his way through it, even though he was clearly gassed.
Through the 3-2 breaking pitch, which took a lot of guts.
Struck out Ramon Flores to get through that inning in a tie game in the 8th. 3-2 to Villar leading off in the 8th inning today, and he pops one up in foul ground, right going back toward the tarp. Conforto coming in, but it's in the crowd.
Here's the ranks for the Mets bullpen. I mean, so good. Doesn't get much better. And I have to say, I was one of the pundits, is too strong a word for me.
Skeptics.
I was one of the guys in the beginning of the year that thought that if there was a weakness, it could be the bullpen, because you had some guys coming off injury like Jim Henderson.
Strike 3 call. Henderson paints the outside corner, gets Villar looking for the first out. Well, Henderson, this is big for him, pitching against his old organization.
And he had his finest year as the closer for the Milwaukee Brewers, and that one right on the outside corner.
There's Scooter Gennett, who's 1 for 3 today. It was in 2013 that Henderson, after toiling in the minor leagues for the better part of a decade, finally got his chance to be a full-time closer in the big leagues. Saved 28 games that year with Milwaukee. But then his shoulder problems began, and it took him a good 2 full seasons to work his way back, and the Mets took a chance on him. And right from the beginning of spring training, it was clear that he had some life in that right arm. Ryan Braun on deck. Big batter here for Henderson. The one Braun coming up as the tying run. And the breaking ball popped up. Granderson coming in, Walker going out, and Walker found it. He lost that ball for a while, had to circle out to recover his bearings, and was able to make the play because Granderson was not going to get there.
You know, we never talk about infielders and their ability to go back on a pop-up, spend so much time on their ability on ground balls, but Neil Walker is very good at this, and he likes to go get them. What you need in your infielders, the guys that are always good at this, are the ones that are aggressive and want to go out and catch it, and Walker's one of those guys.
So 2 out, nobody on, and now Braun comes to bat in a spot where he can't tie the game. He's 0 for 3 today, and has returned to action after missing the last 4. And he fouls off the first pitch fastball.
Again, swinging at the first pitch is Braun. He's been out for a few days, maybe you know, overly aggressive.
Well, it's not been a pretty day for Braun on any front. He let a pop up by Cespedes fall in front of him, and it led to the Mets 2 runs in the 4th that gave them the lead.
Milwaukee had kind of the same decision that the Mets had. They had Reyes and Wright here, who to sign for a long-term deal. Brewers had Prince Fielder and Braun and had to make a choice. Fielder went to Texas.
Well, Fielder has certainly had his issues over the last few years.
Yes.
Braun, when he's been healthy, has played well, but he merely disgraced the organization.
Yeah.
One from Henderson. And now he's ahead on Braun 1-2.
See Rivera keep calling for that fastball away, and he keeps tapping his glove and moving his glove on the outside corner, almost imploring Henderson, if you hit this spot, you're going to get a strikeout. So far, the ball has drifted back over the middle. He's going to try it again.
1-2 coming. Laced to center field, and that's down for a base hit, blocked by Cespedes. And Braun holds it first with a 2-out hit. And that'll get Jonathan Lucroy to the plate as the tying run.
Cespedes has been playing a little chess ball here at Citi Field on this homestand. This is a bullet, and he wanted to try to catch it. Once he knew he couldn't, he just blocked it with his body like a catcher or soccer midfielder.
That's the way they tell third basemen to knock the ball down. So now Henderson will face his former battery mate. Lucroy today 1 for 3, drove in a run with a first inning single, the only run the Brewers have scored today. And a slider in for a strike. Our next game on Pix 11 will be when the Mets are in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers Saturday, June 11th at 4 o'clock. Lucroy goes after that slider, and now it's 0-2. Pitcher spot due up next. Chris Carter's come out on deck to pinch hit if Lucroy keeps the inning going. But Henderson's put him in a 2-strike hole. You throw him another slider further off the plate?
Well, you got to bounce it because we've seen Lucroy, his ability to hit the breaking ball in the zone. The fastball has beat him, though, from Syndergaard.
First fastball from Henderson is fouled off.
96.
That's about as hard a pitch as he's thrown all season. It's Carter, big home run hitter. Got the day off today.
Got to get Lucroy. You don't want Chris Carter coming to the plate. So when Rivera goes out here to Henderson, he really wants to take the temperature of Jim and know what he's thinking. You know, what do you want to do? And usually with an 0-2 count, he's probably telling him, hey, listen, let's bounce a breaking pitch before we throw another fastball. But they're trying to work on 2 pitches here. What we want to do now, if it works, we're out of the inning. If it doesn't work, where do we go next? Still wants him to paint him away.
And Lucroy fouls it away. So Henderson is pitching the 8th because Reed has pitched 3 days in a row. Just looking ahead.
Yeah.
If Familia pitches the 9th, it will be his 3rd day in a row. Do you want Familia working 3 days in a row going into the Washington series?
It doesn't bother me because I think he's a 4-day in a row guy.
Okay.
You know, it comes in. It's really streaky for closers.
Braun runs the pitch high. Rivera's throw into the runner. It hits Braun, and he has the stolen base. 3rd stolen base of the year for Braun. who's had some back problems and got hit in the back by the throw.
Just such a huge jump off Jim Henderson with a 2-run lead. I don't think he was even paying attention to Ryan Braun, then hit him right on the numbers or the name.
One and two to Lucroy. Right back to Henderson. Side retire. Against his old mates, Henderson gets the job done in the 8th. 3-1 New York. Honda. Max Scherzer 8 strong innings for the Nationals. They lead 6-2 in the 9th. The Phillies got 7 strong innings from Jared Eichhoff, and they lead the Braves 5-0, trying to salvage the finale of that series. Zach Greinke has the Diamondbacks in front of the Cardinals 5-1 in the 5th. And the night game tonight, Cubs and Giants. They've split the first 2 of that series. Madison Bumgarner goes tonight against Kyle Hendricks. Matt Cain got his first win of the year last night for the Giants against the Cubs. Play of the game brought to you by your Tri-State Audi dealer. This was huge. Rene Rivera gunning down Alex Presley, trying to advance in the 7th inning.
Rene Rivera is going to get a little more playing time as you go along. He might be a couple of 3 days a week kind of deal.
Jeremy Jeffress, the Brewers closer, will get an inning of work here.
Well, this kid can really throw it. Good fastball, outstanding breaking ball. Just coming off his last appearance, blown save against the Cubs. Just getting some work today.
David Wright leads off for the Mets in the home 8th inning. David is 0 for 3 today. Ground ball and 2 fly balls. And he takes a strike from Jeffress.
You know, it's great to get your closer work if he hasn't pitched in a while. But, you know, this is a 3-1 game, you know. If you needed him later, you would not have the availability of him.
A little bloop into shallow right, and David's got himself a base hit. So the Mets got the leadoff man on in the home 8th.
Well, little fastball in, running in, that jams David. We've seen a couple of hits in this series that David has gotten like that. One a day.
Take them all. Here's Conforto. Mets were down 1-0 when they came to bat in the bottom of the 1st, and Conforto tattooed one into the visitors' bullpen for his 8th home run of the year. He's also walked and popped up 1 for 2. So Conforto, who had been struggling coming into this series, 4 for 9 with a double and 2 home runs in the 3 games. And there is Jeurys Familia, ready to pitch for the 3rd straight day. Picked up a win yesterday, picked up his 14th save the night before. Slowly hit. Perez goes to second and gets the force play there. 3-6 on the fielder's choice, a racing right.
Boy, what a good choice by Perez there. That's not that easy. You see a lot of first basemen who don't have any experience. Now he plays all around the infield. They'll take that ball and hand it to the pitcher, but instead makes the strong throw to shortstop to get right.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Cespedes, who has a pop fly double and a walk today, 1 for 2. Conforto at first and 1 out. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by NYU Langone Medical Center, made for New York. Jeremy Jeffress, first drafted by the Brewers in the first round back in '06, and then was traded a couple of times before landing back with the Brewers organization as a free agent a couple of years ago after he had been released by Toronto, and he's reclaimed his career, and for the first time in his career getting a chance to close games.
Toronto would sure love to have that arm right now, wouldn't they?
Curveball off the plate, and it's 1-1. When he was first signed, the Brewers had the idea that Jeffress was going to be a starter, but after a couple of years in the minor leagues, it was clear that he was more suited to the bullpen, but never got a chance to close in the majors. Only had 1 save in his career before this year. And he had been perfect in save opportunities till Wednesday when he let one get away against the Cubs.
Well, that's a good breaking ball he has there.
One-two, and it's low and away to Cespedes. 2-2.
Gary, he's got the calling card for all baseball players' personal information. Enjoys golf, video games, hunting, and fantasy football. I mean, you could put that on how many percent of the baseball players would you put that on that would be applicable?
All he's missing is fishing, and then he'd have the royal flush. And Cespedes with an ugly hack at a fastball as he strikes out for the 2nd out.
Well, put it on the board, guys. There'll be less than 5 of these type of at-bats by Cespedes all season long, who was in between, didn't know what to do.
So 2 out. Conforto still at first, and here's Neil Walker. 0 for 3 today, just 1 for 10 in this series. Interesting that Antonio Bastardo has gotten up alongside Familia in the Mets bullpen. What does that mean to you?
To me, it's all about just be ready in case one of these guys, Cespedes came up, and now Walker, if someone flips someone for a 2-run bomb, then it would be Bastardo in the 9th.
Brewers have the pitcher's spot. Perez and Presley do in the 9th inning. 1 to Walker. Jeffress was first traded from Milwaukee to Kansas City. That was the deal where the Brewers got Zach Greinke.
Is that where Escobar?
Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Cain also went in that deal to Kansas City, so it turned out to be a great deal for the Royals. Brewers only got a little bit of Greinke, but they wind up getting Jeffress back.
Well, they got into the division series against the Cardinals that year.
Line into left, a base hit for Walker. Conforto will go first to third. Walker slams on the brakes. He'll stop at first. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 out.
Good hitting by Neal. If he can get more in this mode on that outside fastball and serve it to left field, they're going to shift him. So that's going to be a hit all the time. Nothing for Conforto to do, but you have to run hard here, because the reason you do that, if the outfield bobbles it at all in this kind of game, you got to be ready for Tuffle to send you.
So as Dribble Cabrera, who had the 2-run single in the 4th to put the Mets in front, has a chance to add to the lead. Cabrera 1 for 3 on the day. Conforto at third, Walker at first, and 2 out. And the curveball from Jeffress misses, ball 1. Check it. It's a strike. That's the opposite of a ball.
Gary Cederstrom just very subtle in his strike calls. There's not a Jim Joyce out there.
Saying he's not as loud.
Yeah.
Grounded down to first. Perez says, I'll take it. And that retires the side. Mets are done in the bottom of the 8th, and now Familia will try and keep his save record perfect. Mets going for the sweep, up 3-1. With Marvin Scott on SNY. It's WB Mason post game live, and trying to get the Mets to the post game. Well, first here's Yoenis Cespedes in left field, Juan Lagares in center, the usual late inning outfield defense, and there is Senor Familia looking for his 15th save.
Well, he's perfect so far. That's tied for third with John Franco. In second place, K-Rod at 16 for 16 to open the season, and Armando Benitez. 24 for 24.
Colin Walsh will be the pinch hitter for the Brewers, leading off in the 9th inning. Walsh, the Rule 5 pick, struck out as a pinch hitter yesterday. Brewers pinch hitters are hitless in their last 19 at bats, and Walsh has had a bunch of those, hitting .087 for the season. And the switch hitter goes after the first pitch fastball, 0-1.
It's amazing to me. The game has changed where you need a runner on. It's the only way you can come back in this game. We've seen it in this series almost each and every time. They're swinging first pitch, not even trying to work the count at all.
I mean, it used to be automatic. You're down by 2 runs. You never swing at the first pitch in the 9th.
Make him throw a strike. That wasn't one.
Tapper, and Familia makes the play for the first out. That was a wasted at bat.
Well, the analytics will tell you, Gary, swing the bat.
Well, Brewers pinch hitters now 0 for their last 20.
Analytics will tell you that's not good.
Yes, so will I.
We agree with that one.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that. 0 for 20, not good. Here's Hernan Perez, who's had a nice day with the bat. 2 for 3 at a base hit leading off the 7th against Noah Syndergaard. Brewers had their best threat in that 7th. They had first and third and nobody out. But then Presley tried to advance on a short wild pitch, was thrown out. Syndergaard struck out Flores and got through the inning. Syndergaard went 7, did not allow an earned run, struck out 11 today. Chopper, tough play, right with the bare hand, and the ball can't be handled by Campbell. Tried to grab it and make the tag all in one motion, but it popped out of Eric's glove.
You know, I think he still was on the bag, but I think the runner, Perez, ran right into his glove, knocking it out. The bare hand's there. The throw has got to be, as he gets it with all of his mitts, his old mitt there, but he's on the bag. I just think that the runner runs right into his glove and kicks it out. Oh, hand. His left hand hit it at the very end to knock it out.
Didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't an A-Rod play. Just happened to get his hand on the glove.
Somewhere Bronson Arroyo was smiling. Just gets it with the left hand. Oh, right there.
So the tying run comes to bat. Alex Presley, who's 1 for 3 today. He had some good at bats against Syndergaard. And now Chris Carter has come out on deck to bat for Ramon Flores. So the big home run bat of Carter looms. To another Presley. Dugout shop is that away.
Got his own dugout shop, huh?
He's big, Mr. Matt. And not just his head. 2-0 coming. Double play ball if they hurry. Walker to Cabrera to first. Double play and the ball game is over. Jeurys Familia gets the save. Noah Syndergaard gets the win with 7 strong innings. And the Mets sweep a 3-game series from the Brewers in Queens for the first time since 2002.
Well, not a lot of offense for the Mets, but enough with Conforto and the big hit by Cabrera on the 2-run single on the curveball from their starting pitcher. And each and every time Noah Syndergaard pitches, he's really the story. Jim Henderson with a scoreless inning. Familia now 15 for 15.
Syndergaard 11 strikeouts, no walks, now has a 1.94 ERA, and Familia gets the infield defense.
Listen, Presley can fly, so you got to get rid of this quick. Good hard throw from Walker, and Cabrera put a little extra on that ball to first base. You can watch him kind of line it up and really go for it. I don't know what that move is. I don't even think I can talk about it.
It's his version of histrionics. Game summary brought to you by the Jeep Drive and Discover event. Mets sweep the series from the Brewers and head into Washington on a positive note. Now 7 games over 500. Syndergaard 5-2 with a 1.94 ERA through his first 9 starts of the season, as the Mets beat the Brewers for the 3rd straight day. 3-1 the final. The Mets win it. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.